Hokage give me a face. One Piece, Chapter 21-40. Chapter 21 _ Are you gay? I told you not to fight for a long time, but you want to fight. Now it's good. The pirate group is completely wiped out, and you yourself were seriously injured. Are you embarrassed? Yi Xuanyu said earnestly, but his face was completely unconcealed. That arrogant appearance made Roger and others full of black lines. Who are these people, who killed other people's pirates and persuaded others? It's so nasty. At this moment, the Golden Lion knelt down in front of Yi Zan in embarrassment. He couldn't be called embarrassed, but was so seriously injured that he couldn't stand. He was lucky to survive Yi Zan's out-of-range attack. Trauma. The orange skill book emerged from the Golden Lion. Obviously, at this point, he gave up resistance completely, and Yi Zan won the duel. Knife flow S orange price, 80 ingots. Close black lens bracket. Not bad. Yi Zan nodded with satisfaction. Although he has learned swordsmanship in the Hokage world for a while, the swordsmanship in the Hokage world is very weak. The only powerful Hatake swordsmanship is Hatake Sakumo. Because of the family secret, Hatake Sakumo will not teach Yi Zan. Mysterious. Of course, with Yi Zan's strength, he doesn't bother to learn swordsmanship on purpose, but in the world of One Piece, swordsmanship and kendo are 30 skills that must be prepared for pretending to be a girl. Think about it, the handsome swordsman, the ferocious swordsmanship and position, the evil eyes and smile after defeating the enemy, ahem. It probably means that Yi Zan wants to pretend, and the easiest way to pretend to be handsome is to become a handsome swordsman. The two swords of the Golden Lion are okay, and it is one of the top swordsmanship in the world of One Piece. Original novel, Yuhifa Shanks and Whitebeard once collided with swordsmanship. With a single blow, the clouds in the sky were torn apart. The Golden Lion was at the same level as them, and the swordsmanship was definitely not weak. In Yi Zan's eyes, the Golden Lion pirates were just bored and just playing casually. When they got the double sword, he ignored the Golden Lion and happily went to the chef to ask for wine to celebrate today's victory. Yi Zan ignored the Golden Lion, but the Golden Lion was kneeling on the deck of the Roger pirate ship at the moment. He looked at Yi Zan silently, his face full of bitterness, and his heart was both regretful and sad. He really didn't expect Yi Zan to be so powerful, to actually destroy his entire pirate group with just one person. How powerful must that be? Because of the feeling of sympathy between the strong, Roger took pity on the Golden Lion, and finally gave him a boat and food and let him go, mainly because the Golden Lion was too pitiful. As a strong man of the same level, Roger changed positions after thinking about it for a while. I almost cried. This evil star, you can't mess with it. It's even more demon than a demon. Roger stared at Yi Zan resentfully, as if thinking of something. He quickly came to Yi Zan's side. Hey, boy, are you not hurt? Bullshit. Yi Zan flipped over the Byakugan and drank the cocktail he had just prepared. Golden Lion is as weak as you. Do you think he'll get hurt? Quote. Roger looked at Yi Zan with black lines all over his head. He wanted to say something, but was unable to refute it. Seriously, the strength of his Roger pirates was not much different from that of the Golden Lion. Roger was depressed, but Yi Zan, a flash of light flashed in his mind at this moment, his eyes lit up, and he suddenly looked at Roger, his eyes bursting with the color of exploration. Roger, I suddenly want to ask you a question. Yi Zan's tone was very strange, and that smile instantly made Roger feel a chill in his heart. He took a slight step back, leaned his body against the side of the boat, and swallowed in fear. That, can I refuse to answer? Of course you can, Yi Zan said very seriously. Do you think I am the kind of person who is difficult for a strong man? Yes. Roger nodded affirmatively, and before Yi Zan could react, he added again, however, I like your toughness. Well, Roger was actually scared. He felt a little wronged. He was the world's top pirate, but he was so frightened by the boy in front of him that he lied against his conscience. This is coercion and temptation. Seeing Roger's aggrieved appearance, Yi Zan just smiled, and the smile on the corner of his mouth became more and more strange. Roger, are you on your back? Back the mountain. It's Billy Harrington, crooked, geeky, and likes men. Do you understand? I don't like men. Hey, don't be so loud, it will make you feel guilty Tilda. Yizan's words instantly made Roger shut up. Also, you said you don't like men, so why don't you even have a beautiful woman on board? Yizan continued to look at Roger with very strange eyes, and then nodded affirmatively. I'm sure you like men. What, Captain, do you like men? Yizan's last voice finally attracted Bucky Shanks and Rayleigh nearby. Bucky looked at Roger with shocked eyes, and then took a step back cautiously. Captain, I didn't expect you to be such a person. Bucky, wait, listen to my explanation. Roger hurriedly chased after Bucky. Bucky was startled, and ran into the cabin with a scream. The speed was more than 5 times faster than usual. Only then can Bucky explode his potential. Bucky fled. Shanks and Rayleigh also took a step back, and the two stared at Roger with the same weird eyes. At that moment, Roger only felt that the whole sky was dark. Boy, 660 you pit me. Roger looked at Yizan with tears in his eyes, but Yizan nodded as a matter of course. Yes, I'm just cheating on you, who makes you like a strong man. Ooh. In this way, under the strange eyes of the members of the Roger Pirates, the pirate ship set sail again, but after the incident of the Golden Lion, the entire pirate group once again designated Yizan as the most untouchable person in the world. Yizan didn't know that he was being looked at like this by Roger. He was lying on the sun lounger board, with Erlang's legs crossed, and looked at the sky swayingly. Ah, it's almost like an adult. It's so boring, I really want to be raped. Yizan complained boringly, and his words made the pirate crew on the side quickly move away. After such a long time of contact, everyone in the Roger Pirates has made one thing clear. Yizan is the kind of person who wants to look for trouble if he has something or nothing. It is best not to provoke him when he is bored. Otherwise, the absolute force will make you want to cry. Even if the body is not miserable, the mind will collapse. Such boring days lasted for about 2 weeks, and finally, a voice brought Yizan to his spirits. Captain, the location of the big secret treasure One Piece can be seen. Chapter 22-end, Ralph Drew. Ralph Drew, the end of the Great Route, is also the hiding place of One Piece. The hiding place of One Piece. This is the One Piece. Yizan pouted, it doesn't look any different. Yizan's words are not unreasonable. The small island of Ralph Drew is very normal in terms of shape and climate. The entire island is also barren, and it looks no different from an ordinary desert island. In terms of orientation, it is indeed here. With my level, it is absolutely impossible to find the wrong place, said the navigator confidently. Everyone, including Yizan, trusts his level of navigation. Just when everyone was puzzled, suddenly, a strange aura instantly filled everyone's surroundings. What? Yizan frowned slightly. His strength was the strongest, and because of this, his perception was the clearest. No problem. Even if the perception is spread to the limit, there is still no problem. But even if you can't perceive anything, the strange feeling around you has not disappeared. Yizan belonged to the type of curiosity that killed the cat. He finally couldn't stand the weird feeling, so he resolutely used the fruit of face. Space, give me a face, send me to the place where the feeling comes from. However, a fact that shocked Yizan happened. His own face fruit could not be used. What's going on? Yizan was stunned for a moment. As his golden finger, he actually failed at this time. HMPH. I'm afraid. I'm a 6 paths level powerhouse. Even if I don't have the face fruit, I can crush the entire One Piece world with my own strength. Thinking of this, Yizan walked forward decisively. This has always enveloped him. The birthplace of the eerie feeling is gone. The failure of the face fruit made him more curious. He wanted to understand why the face fruit failed, and wanted to know all the secrets here. However, Yizan did not know that at this moment, the fruit ability in his body was undergoing earth-shaking changes. Devil fruit has always been a specialty of One Piece world. Although the origin of face fruit is mysterious, it also belongs to devil fruit in a sense. Yizan disregarded the blocking of Roger's people and moved forward at a relatively fast speed, and at this moment, the space in front of him suddenly distorted, turning into a space crack and swallowing him. When Yizan reacted, a stone tablet appeared in front of him. The stone tablet stood quietly, ancient and simple, with some words that Yizan did not know on it. Yizan looked strangely at the tadpole-like text in front of him, not knowing what it meant, but looking carefully, it seemed a bit similar to the historical text in the original book. So, what's the use? Yizan blinked his eyes slyly, indicating that he didn't know a word. While Yizan was struggling with this, the fruit of the face, which had not been moving, finally seemed to return to normal. He took the initiative to spread the golden force field and spread the force field easily. Yizan checked it seriously for a long time, as if everything just now was an illusion, as if the face fruit could always be used. It's getting too late, this place is getting weirder and weirder. Yizan scratched his head speechlessly, directly covering the force field on the stone tablet. Stone tablet, give me a face and let me know what's written on it. The stone tablet changed, and another layer of text appeared on the surface of the ancient text. It was the most familiar Chinese character for Yizan. The first person who comes here, if he is a devil fruit person, the fruit ability will be permanently doubled, and the non-fruit ability person will have the ability to listen to the voice of all things. The words on the stone tablet shocked Yizan. He looked down at his body and didn't feel any change. It doesn't seem to have changed. Why don't you experiment? Thinking of this, Yizan spread the golden force field and shrouded the ground not far away. Earth, give me a face and disappear. Call out. The earth disappeared. Daddy, give me a face and restore the status quo. Call out. The earth is restored to its original state. Yizan has been researching the face fruit deeply for so many years. He knows exactly how much power will be consumed by ordering something. Because of this, he found that the consumption of the face fruit has actually been reduced by half. So good. Yizan knows that as his strength continues to improve, he will use the third stage of the face fruit more and more frequently, and One Piece World will not mention it, but what about in the future? I can rely on the face fruit to travel through other worlds, and the current consumption is reduced by half, that is to say, using 99% of the power, you can travel to a farther and higher level world. Take me to fly. Thinking of this, a bright smile bloomed on Yizan's face, and at this moment, Roger, who was somewhat embarrassed, brought the crew to the place where Yizan was now. Boy, why are you here? Roger's eyes widened in shock, seeing Yizan's posture that he seemed to have arrived a long time ago. Bullshit. What strength are you guys, and what strength am I? A group of weaklings, just come over now, I've been waiting for you for a long time. Also, Roger, you keep talking about One Piece, now this thing, do you know it? Historical text. Well, you seem to know the historical text. Of course I do. One of the reasons I came to Ralph Drew was for the last piece, which is the most important historical text. Roger stared at the stone monument with a frenzy on his face. Seeing Roger's serious appearance, Yizan had a wicked smile on his face. At that moment, Shanks and Bucky next to him took 2 big steps back in fear. They knew that Yizan was going to do something wrong again. Give me face and make Roger see nothing for a while. A golden force field enveloped Roger, and then... What's going on? Why is it getting dark? Chapter 23-disbanded Roger Pirates. Roger's eyes widened like a husky, but no matter how hard he stared, he couldn't see anything. Can't you see? Yizan smiled wickedly. His demonic voice made Roger cover his head and collapse completely. Big brother, forgive me, I just want to see the historical text. Please let me go, I just want to simply read the historical text. Woohoo. Whoops, it's not real to cry, cry again. Woo, big brother, great God, the most handsome man in the world. Don't tease me, I finally realized my dream, just let me read the history text. Roger looked pitifully towards Yizan. Although he couldn't see it, he knew that Yizan was standing beside him. To see Roger so sincere and pitiful, Yizan patted his shoulder with a smile, and nodded with a sullen face. Not bad attitude, since you are begging so hard, then I will be merciful and let you go. Following Yizan's words, Roger's eyes lit up and his eyesight was restored again. He glanced at Yizan gratefully. It was obvious that Yizan was playing a prank, but in the hearts of him and all the crew members of the pirates, as long as he let go of himself once, it would be a great favor. Soon, Roger began to read the historical text of calendar 247, which is the last historical text and the most important one. Blank 100-year history and ancient weapons made Roger's eyes wide in shock. Akatsuki revealed the secret. Roger's eyes became more and more serious. Roger's appearance made Yizan a little strange, and he didn't know what happened to Roger's reaction. Yizan also knows the content on the stone tablet, but it just records the first person who comes here. If he has the devil fruit ability, the fruit ability will be permanently doubled up. Those who do not have the fruit ability will gain the ability to hear the voice of all things. Close black lens bracket this sentence all. But why is Roger's expression so serious? Is what the other person sees different from what he sees? But Yizan didn't know that what he got was really different from what Roger got, because he had inexplicably improved his abilities, and that sentence had disappeared. The second person who watched the stone tablet saw the historical text. Is this all true? Roger said suddenly. Huh. Yizan looked at Roger strangely. What is true? Nothing. Roger pursed his lips tightly and looked at Yizan with a very complicated look. This complicated look made Yizan more and more puzzled. What's wrong? Stupid. Yizan, can you promise me one thing? If you don't agree, I won't do it. I don't want to be a jerk, bastard. The serious atmosphere he finally created was destroyed, making Roger go crazy again. He glared at Yizan viciously, and the steam of anger rose from the top of his head. In the face of Roger's anger, Yizan just blinked his eyes slyly, and asked suspiciously, really? You don't do it. You don't do it. How can you be a group of men on your boat? Quote. When Yizan complained again, Roger was completely helpless. He simply raised his hand and said with a face full of compromise, My God, I was wrong, I admit defeat. Humph. That's right. You ask me directly, how can I know if I agree or not? If I don't agree, what if you invite me to dinner? If I agree, in case you ask me what if I borrow money? I won't ask you to borrow money. The more you say that, the more I don't believe it. Okay, I was wrong. Yizan, I beg you, promise me one thing. If the next era doesn't become chaotic, you can disturb the era, okay? Roger's words made Yizan blink again. What made the times chaotic? What is this requirement? I know, this matter is a bit difficult for a strong man, but... Please, Roger said, and fell to his knees. What are you doing? We are friends. Are you sick? I don't know what's going on. What are you talking about? On the surface, Yizan was flabbergasted, but in fact he had already guessed what Roger was going to do. It seems interesting to make this era mess up too. Yizan pursed his lips, and the slave trade he saw when he first came to this world reappeared in his mind. He sighed slightly in his heart. Okay, for the sake of our friends, I promise you. That's good, that's good. Roger breathed out a sigh of relief, then turned to look at Rayleigh. Rayleigh, now I order. Roger pirates, disband. What? The sudden words shocked everyone, and Rayleigh was even more stupid than Roger, who didn't know what happened. Captain, why? Yes, Captain, why? Why? Because. After saying this, Roger paused for a while. For some reason, he suddenly remembered Yizan's humorous style. He smiled brightly, and patted Riley on the shoulder, because I want to go home and retire. Quote. Don't speak like Yizan. Everyone yelled at Roger at the same time. Hey, Roger scratched the back of his head embarrassedly. This time, he didn't explain anything, just said to everyone, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry, although I'm sorry, but I still want to say, we're gone go. Seeing Roger's serious look, everyone fell silent, and in the end, Rayleigh, the deputy captain of the pirate group, sighed softly and wiped the corners of his eyes like a cover. Since the captain speaks, we naturally listen, but, we still hope that you will think about it again, and we will go to the ship and wait for your order. Deputy Captain. Everyone looked at Rayleigh and said anxiously, while Rayleigh shook his head and turned to leave. Everyone looked at Riley and then at Roger. I've decided, I'm very sorry for the trouble I caused you. Roger bowed his head and apologized to everyone. We await your orders, Captain. Captain. The crew members spoke to Roger, and Roger just closed his eyes, waved his hands, and let everyone go back to the ship first. Until the last member left, only Yizan and Roger were left. Chapter 24-Robin's Wish. Roger looked at Yizan, thought for a moment, and said slowly, I know the truth of this world from here. The Tianlong people control and destroy this world. The world is crying, I want to oppose the rule of the Tianlong people, for the sake of therefore, I could sacrifice my life. Bah, I saved your life. Yizan spat in disdain, and his face became serious. I know your plan, is it interesting? Interesting. Are you an idiot, just giving up your life like this? Is it really good? Sorry, but I have to do this. There are too many people screaming under the rule of the dragon people, I heard them cry. But with personal strength, it is impossible to overthrow the whole world, I have to do it. Idiot. Yizan curled his lips. It was obvious that Roger wanted to commit suicide. Well, it wasn't considered suicide. He was obviously ready to die in the hands of the Navy. As the first captain to arrive at Ralph Drew, Roger naturally, he became One Piece. This is a legend about the end. The first one to reach the end is One Piece. Yizan, I have already decided, you don't have to continue to persuade me. Roger said firmly, he was not afraid of death, but a flame was burning in his eyes, a kind of hope, a kind of flame of hope. Seeing Roger's firm look, Yizan was silent and stopped talking. The two have been in contact with each other these days, and more or less understand each other's character. Roger takes Yizan as a friend, and Yizan also takes Roger as a friend, but Yizan is different from Roger. For friends, Yizan can't let Luo Jia die. But, this is Roger's hope, it's his life belief. Judging from Roger's reaction, Roger has already made plans, and even chose to disband the pirate group at this time, that is to say, it is irreversible. You really want to do this? Why did you choose death? You're so sure that death can set off a wave of resistance against the Draconians. I'm not sure, I'm doing everything on my gut and so far, nothing has gone wrong. You're an idiot. Yizan looked at Roger angrily, idiot. Hey, for Yizan's abuse, Roger just scratched his head with a smile. His cotton-like smile made Yizan unable to use it, and he was completely useless. How fierce is he? This guy just looks at himself with an apologetic smile, and he has no other way. Forget it, since you want to die yourself, then go all the way, don't send it. Yizan turned around with a displeased face, and walked straight towards the pirate ship in the distance. Now that Roger has made up his mind to turn himself in and start the era of the great pirates, Yizan is useless to say anything. To be honest, Yizan is still a little sad at this moment. Roger is undoubtedly a hero. Once he makes up his mind, he will do nothing. Roger knew very well that the world under the rule of the Tianlong people was in a state that was about to explode, and in this state, as long as there was a spark, it could start a prairie fire in an instant. Roger, he was ready to do that spark. What a fool, who will remember you when you die? Yizan scolded as he walked, and suddenly, a flash of light flashed in his mind, his eyes lit up, and then he quickly hid his eyes. Idiot Roger, if you want to die, go to die. I don't care about you, go. Yizan turned his head and cursed at Roger a few times. A golden force field spread, and the space burst into violent vibrations. Idiot Roger, you want to die, but I let you die. You can do whatever you want later. I'll go to Rogertown to visit your execution ceremony. As for now. Looking at the space crack in front of him, Yizan lifted his foot and stepped indirectly. Space, give me face and send me to Nico Robin's village. West Sea. Archaeology Island, O'Hara. The sun shines. As soon as Yizan appeared, a few stones were thrown towards him. The stones were very slow, as if they were thrown by children. Smash him to death. The monster has summoned the monster. A few more stones were thrown at him, and Yizan lifted it up and pinched a few small stones in his hand. Ah, what a kid. Looking at the angry and frightened eyes of several children not far away, Yizan shook his head slightly, not caring at all. But the monster actually caught our stone. Hurry up. It's a super monster summoned by the monster. With the cry of a child, the stones in the children's hands flew towards Yizan again. Enough. A cold snort instantly shocked all the children. Yizan stared at these children coldly. Even if he didn't exude momentum, he could scare these children to the urine with just his ferocious eyes. Run. The big monster is going to eat people. Run. Yizan's appearance instantly caused many children to scream and scattered, and soon disappeared without a trace. Hey, seeing the disappearing child, Yizan helped his forehead helplessly. If others knew that I was bullying the child, maybe they would laugh at me. Laughing at you? Why are you laughing at you? Yizan was stunned by the sudden voice. He turned to look, only to find that a little loli dressed in plain but clean clothes was looking at him silently. The super thick book that no one has the patience to read, and the soft and smooth black hair shawl looks very cute. Seeing this, Yizan guessed the identity of this little loli, Nico Robin. Hee. Of course they want to laugh at me, just like a god who is angry because of the ignorance of mortals, but he cares about me at different levels, and they will laugh at them. Yizan said with a smile. His words made Robin nodded, but there was a trace of doubt in his eyes. It seems that you don't quite understand it yet. Let me explain it to you like this. Will you be angry because a puppy barks at you? Hearing Yizan's explanation, Robin finally nodded suddenly. No, and, according to this, you are very powerful. Looking at Yizan, Luo Bing asked seriously. Well, you can think so. Yizan smiled and nodded. Then, Robin's eyes flickered with longing, because the young Robin was unexpectedly sensible because she was dependent on others all the year round. Although she longed, she did not express her thoughts. What's wrong? Yizan squatted in front of Robin with a smile, rubbed Robin's hair gently, and tidied it up to make her hair more supple. At that moment, Robin's mind was touched. No one has done this to Robin for a long time. As a devil fruit person, she has been feared by ordinary people in O'Hara all the year round. Although O'Hara scholars know about devil fruits and are not afraid of Robin, those scholars who can't even manage their own lives naturally don't care much about Robin's life. If you're as strong as you say you are, can you let me see my mother? Chapter 25 _ Help Robin find his mother. Can I see my mother? What a poignant sentence. Yizan's heart melted all at once. Seeing Robin's look of anticipation, Yizan rubbed her long black and smooth hair again. Little idiot, in fact, you have already seen your mother, but you don't know her, and she doesn't know you. Yizan said gently, his eyes full of love. Yizan's words made Robin stunned, followed by shock, accompanied by strong disbelief. You lied. I never lie, especially sweet little loli like you. Yizan said with a smile. As for the lie of, never deceive people, Yizan said that his skin was thick enough. Yizan's words and the condescending appearance made Robin more and more unbelievable. She looked at Yizan with a strange look, which made Yizan's old face suddenly unable to hang. Hey, little idiot, don't believe it. What I said is true. If you don't believe it, you can ask Dr. Kuroha, the librarian of O'Hara. Dr. Kuroha. Dr. Kuroha knows where my mother is. HMPH, you'll know when you ask . After Yizan finished speaking, Robin quickly turned around and ran towards O'Hara's tree of omniscience. Her head was in chaos. If everything was true, why did Dr. Kuroha lie to herself? Why is my mother always reluctant to recognize herself? Robin left, and Yi-zan was the only one left. He lifted his chin and looked at the Tree of Omniscience in the distance. This is the only island of scholars who dares to take risks in the world. He has the courage, but unfortunately, he has no strength. Soon, this island of scholars will be destroyed by war. It's a pity. Yi-zan shook his head slowly, but he did not want to stop the Navy's slaughtering order. The Navy's slaughtering order was aimed at O'Hara. Although it was to destroy those who knew the text of history, the other meaning was to kill chickens and warn monkeys. Tell the whole world the attitude of the naval government to the historical text. Yi Shuenkai doesn't believe that in the whole world, only scholars from O'Hara can interpret the historical text, such as Roger. Could it be that Roger is also from O'Hara? O'Hara can only be regarded as the world's top university, but in this world, it is definitely not only this school, and it is definitely not only O'Hara who understands ancient characters. The Navy is killing chickens to show the monkeys. Yi-zan rescued O'Hara. The Navy will naturally find the second O'Hara and the third O'Hara. If you want to truly save the world, perhaps only Roger's approach, completely the overthrow of the Tianlong people's rule. It's so troublesome. I don't want to save the world. Yi-zan half laid his eyelids lazily. For Yi-zan, overthrowing the rule of the Tianlong people is a thankless thing, which is completely inconsistent with Yi-zan eating, sleeping, eating, idle, bored and playing with the character of a girl. To mention the pirate world that has nothing to do with him, even in the Hokage world, he has not destroyed the other 4 countries to form a real unity. He knows that as long as there is no war, as long as many countries form healthy competition, then the development of economy and technology will be faster and faster. Sure enough, I still have to find Luffy, and it's fun to leave this hard thing to Luffy to do. Thinking of the idiot Luffy in the original book, Yi-zan's mouth evoked a malicious smile. When Yi-zan was in a daze, Robin, who had already gone to the library, finally knew the truth. She started looking for her mother like crazy. She never imagined that her mother was O'Hara's most famous young female scholar. Alvia. When Robin was looking for his mother, 5 lieutenant generals, 10 brigadier generals, 10,000 of the most elite soldiers of the Navy headquarters, and 10 world-class warships faintly appeared on the distant coastline. Demon Slaying Order. The Demon Slaughtering Order was actually activated at this time. This was something that even Yi-zan had not thought of. He did not expect that he had come by such a coincidence that as soon as he came to O'Hara, the Navy's Demon Slaying Order arrived. The Demon Slaying Order came at this time. Do I have the attribute of an $39 deaf primary school student and $39? Look at the system panel. Obviously not. Why does something happen wherever I go? Yi-zan hand scratched the back of his head, his figure flashed, and he came to the inside of the Tree of Omniscience in an instant. At this moment, Robin is about to rush out from the inside of the Tree of Omniscience. She can't find her mother, because her mother, Alvia, has been imprisoned by the Navy. Boom. Oops. With a soft sound, Robin happened to bump into Yi-zan's arms. Yi-zan hugged Robin subconsciously, and rubbed her forehead gently. You didn't get hurt, did you? No, but I can't find my mother. Woohoo. Big brother, you say you can do anything, can you tell me where is my mother? Okay, please, tell my mother where. Robin looked at Yi-zan and pleaded with tears on his face. Robin's pitiful appearance made Yi-zan's original intention to tease disappear. He sighed and picked up Robin into his arms. Okay, I'll take you to find your mother. After Yi-zan finished speaking, he turned to look at Dr. Kuroha, who was still stunned in the library, and pouted in disdain. Poor people also have something to hate. This kind of nerd, it's best to die. He didn't even tell the other party that the Demon Slaughtering Order was coming. These scholars really thought they were the most powerful people in the world. They thought that no one dared to touch them. Until the last moment of death, the 0.2 scholars' poverty and arrogance in their hearts would never be forgotten. Will disappear. Walking out of the library, a golden force field spread, the corner of Yizan's mouth moved slightly, and a space Uzumaki suddenly appeared in front of him. Give me a face, the space teleports to Alvia's side. After he finished speaking, he took Robin and stepped into Uzumaki. In the next instant, the scenery in front of him changed to the beach and the sea. This is the beach outside O'Hara Island. Yizan looked back and saw a huge tree of omniscience in the distance. Mom! A cry with a cry made Yizan look back again, only to find that Robin was watching the beach not far away, where a woman covered in injuries was sitting on the beach to rest. Chapter 26 _ Don't take off swimming. And the moment Robin shouted, the woman raised her head quickly, her eyes filled with a hint of joy and pain. Robin, what are you talking about? I'm Dr. Alvia, not your mother. Alvia quickly hid the joy in her eyes. She couldn't recognize Robin, and managed to escape from the Navy. She must go to the Tree of Omniscience to inform all scholars that the slaughtering order is coming. It's useless, don't go. Dr. Kuroha and other scholars are going to accompany the Tree of Omniscience to destroy. What? Don't get it. Those nerds are going to die with their knowledge. Do you want to die with them too? Yizan sneered, walked slowly to Alvia's side with Robin in his arms, and put Robin down. This is your mother, and also O'Hara's most famous female scholar. Yizan's words convinced Robin, because Yizan's performance was so miraculous that he could do things like space teleportation, so what couldn't he do? Moreover, the call of blood made her believe that the woman in front of her was her mother, and she believed in her sixth sense. Mom! Robin cried, more and more tears in his eyes. That weak and pitiful appearance made Alvia's heart cringe. The crying girl in front of her was her daughter. Robin! Alvia's voice was trembling. At this moment, she finally forgot her mission and many responsibilities. At this moment, only Robin was in her eyes. She stretched out her hands tremblingly. And Robin burst into tears and threw herself into her arms. Mom! Woo woo! Why don't you recognize me? I miss you so much. Woo woo! I'm sorry, Robin. Yizan was also moved by the touching scene of mother and daughter meeting. He silently took a few steps back and left this moment to the two of them. Poor Robin, hey. Yizan sighed lightly and turned to look into the distance. He was at the right side of O'Hara Island at the moment. In sight, the naval battleship became the position on the far left of the sea horizon. This kind of world's top warship, sailing speed very fast, in such a short time, it will change from the size of an ant to the size of a grain of rice. If it is expected, it will take up to 10 minutes to reach the island. 10 minutes, so long. Yizan lowered his eyes lazily. For someone like him who uses Horaitian's technique at any time, 10 minutes is indeed a long time. He tilted his head and looked at the mother and daughter who hugged each other sobbing and whispered about the pain of lovesickness. Maybe, 10 minutes wasn't enough for both of them. It's really inconvenient to not have a storage scroll. Yizan looked left and right, and as soon as Gulu sat directly on the beach, without a storage scroll, he could not carry a series of daily necessities such as beach chairs, coffee tables, teapots and tea, snacks and melon seeds. When you are free in the future, make a storage scroll to play with. Thinking about it, Yizan simply took off his shoes and stepped on the fine white sand to the place where the seawater could reach. There are 10 minutes left, how about? Take a swim. Hey, what are you swimming? Didn't you see the mother and daughter crying and hugging on the beach so moved? What the hell is swimming? Idiot Yizan's thinking has always been offline, and he will do whatever he thinks. At this moment, he has taken off his clothes and outer pants, and then took off his inner. Don't take it off. I don't know when. Robin and Alvia have already turned their attention. Robin was shy, and Olivia was shy with a hint of curiosity. The mother and daughter stopped Yizan from taking off nay in unison, which made Yizan a little embarrassed. That, if you don't take off the inner swim, you won't be wearing it after a while. No, mother and daughter said in unison again, and then looked at each other in surprise at the same time. Sure enough, the tacit understanding in blood is innate. Humph. Blocked by Robin and Alvia, Yizan Tsunere snorted lightly and angrily picked up his clothes and pants and put them on. How could he swim without taking off his inner, and there is no place to air dry. Yizan was dressed. Robin and Alvia hugged again and whispered about the pain of missing. They told it like this, completely immersed in their own world. However, when an earth-shattering whistle sounded, Alvia suddenly raised her head. The whistle. Warships. Warships are coming. She looked at the ocean to the left in panic, and found that 10 giant warships were approaching O'Hara Island. The warship is here. Robin. You wait. I'm going to inform Dr. Kuroha. I have to let them escape, she said, dropping Robin and standing up, preparing to head towards the Tree of Omniscience. He ran in the direction, his arms tightened, but Yizan grabbed him fiercely. What are you doing? Don't go. Who are you? You can control where I'm going. I'm not allowed to go if I say no. No one can disobey my orders. Yizan 313 was extremely domineering. He slammed it, pulled Alvia back at once, and threw it to Robin's side. You. What am I? You finally escaped from the Navy, so you want to die. To tell you the truth, O'Hara has perished, and since the Navy has dispatched a demon slaughter order, just wait for the leader to press the golden phone bug and slaughter the demon. The order will be activated immediately, giving you 2 choices. 1. Obediently accompany Robin here. 2. I will break your foot, and then obediently accompany Robin here. Yizan's domineering finally shocked Alvia. At this time, Robin hugged Alvia obediently, like a stray kitten, and leaned his head on Alvia's arms pitifully. Mom, don't leave me. Robin's cry finally made Alvia give up notifying the Tree of Omniscience. She glared at Yizan fiercely and hugged Robin tenderly. Don't cry, baby, Mom won't leave you. Alvia eventually stayed where he was, and within a few minutes, the naval battleship finally arrived on the island. It's coming. What's coming? Slayer order. Yizan raised an eyebrow at Alvia. Your home is going to be destroyed. Chapter 27-Evil Conditions. You. Alvia glared at Yizan angrily, and Yizan's words also made Robin in Alvia's arms react. Brother, is O'Hara really going to be destroyed? Robin wiped her tears and said pitifully. Her years of grievances gradually dissipated in Alvia's arms, but when she heard about the home she grew up in to be destroyed, a little more tears overflowed from her eyes. Seriously, it is indeed going to be destroyed. Hearing Yizan's words, Robin pursed his lips tightly, endured it for a while, and finally couldn't hold back his tears. Brother. You said you can do anything, can you save O'Hara? Robin's words made Yizan scratch his head. It is not difficult for him to save O'Hara, but why did he do this? Why should I save O'Hara? I'm not familiar with O'Hara. But O'Hara is my mother's hometown. Robin struggled to get out of Alvia's arms and hugged Yizan's leg pitifully. Brother, you can save O'Hara, right? Tears kept flowing from her big eyes, and the tears had turned her cheeks into little cats. Seeing this, Yizan sighed softly, squatted down, and gently wiped away the tears on her cheeks with his fingers. Do you really like O'Hara? You have been attacked and insulted by so many people on this island over the years. They all call you a devil, and they don't even give you white bread. In such a hometown, you also willing to protect? I do, Robin said firmly, his eyes unwavering. Yes, but I have 2 conditions. What conditions? My condition is. Yizan rolled his eyes, and instantly turned his gaze to Alvia next to him. His gaze and the smile on the corner of his mouth made Alvia take a step back in fear. His hands tightly grasped a mass of white sand. My condition is, first, you have to come with me in the future. Second, your mother has to come with me too. No. As soon as Yizan's voice fell, Alvia immediately refused. She was smart and felt bad intentions in Yizan's eyes, and she still had a lot of historical texts to read, so she would never follow Yizan. Zan go. Tisk. I see, your mother said no, then I can't do anything. Yizan shrugged indifferently, the attitude of, no action if you don't agree to the conditions, made Robin's big eyes appear again. Tears were shed, and Alvia was also clutching a mass of white sand tightly, her face full of anger. Bastard! You are taking advantage of the danger. Alvia cursed angrily and threw it at Yi Zan. The white sand spread out in the air and fell on the beach in the distance. Alvia blinked his eyes suspiciously. At that moment, Yi Zan and Robin disappeared. Where are you looking? A sudden voice appeared behind her, and Alvia was startled, but before she could react, her ears warmed, accompanied by a strong crispy feeling. Ah! Alvia let out a soft cry. Her delicate face instantly embarrassed Yuhi. She quickly tilted her head forward, turned her head in shame and anger, and happened to see Yi Zan's closed mouth. You bastard! Thank you for the compliment, Tilda. Yi Zan blinked his eyes with a smile on his face. He didn't expect that Alvia's body was so sensitive. He just bit his ears lightly, and Alvia came to feel it. Just when Alvia wanted to grab the sand and smash Yi Zan again, suddenly, a violent scream came from the sky. Ha! Boom! The island vibrated, mixed with screams and fires all over the sky. Alvia's face changed greatly, and she immediately looked at Yi Zan, and finally there was a pleading in her eyes. You, please, save O'Hara. I can save it, but the conditions remain the same. In the future, your mother and daughter will have to follow me. Why are you doing this? We are with you, why do you have to let us be with you? I am a historian, and I want to explore all the historical texts in this world. Why are you? Alvia clenched her fists angrily, her hometown on one side, her dreams on the other, and important things on both sides, which made her unable to choose. Why, hee. If you want to blame you for being pretty. Yi Zan's words made Alvia stunned for a moment. She never thought that was the reason. At that moment, a throbbing appeared in her heart, and her anger also diminished. Also, I can tell you very clearly, even if I save O'Hara today, all of you scholars in O'Hara will become wanted criminals in the Navy. What kind of historical text are you looking for? When you go to the next town, you will be arrested by the locals. The residents notified the Navy. Reported to the Navy by the local residents. They won't do this. Alvia said this, but her eyes were not as firm as before. She understood that Yi Zan did not lie. And at this moment, boom! There was another huge explosion, and the artillery shells of the distant warships were scattered here. Hearing more and more screams, Alvia finally made a decision in her heart. I promise your terms. HMPH, that's right. Yi Zan smiled wickedly and put down Robin in his arms. Don't move, my brother is here to save the world. After Yi Zan finished speaking, hand seal with both hands, 6 paths level chakras rushed into the entire island. Doden, Earth style. Super. Toriu Castle. With Yi Zan's low drink, the entire O'Hara Island suddenly had a more violent earthquake. Rumbling. Around the island, a row of extremely thick soil walls slowly rose, wrapping the entire island like a cage. Boom. The cannonballs bombarded the slowly rising Tuliu city, but the iron-like earthen walls were not afraid of the cannonballs at all. No matter how the artillery shells were bombarded, there were at most some shallow pits on the earthen walls, and those pits were still extremely large. Fast healing. What is this? On the warship, Spandane, who was in charge of the demon-slaying order, stared blankly at all this, not knowing what happened. Could it be that the devil fruit person is protecting O'Hara? The brigadier general next to him stared blankly at the huge earth wall protecting the entire O'Hara, and swallowed his saliva in disbelief. Chapter 28-Young and Cowardly. If there is a devil fruit-capable person to protect O'Hara, to be able to launch such a terrifying move, at least he must be at the level of a general. The earth wall surrounded the island, standing 100 meters high. Yi Zan slowly exhaled. For his 6 paths level strength, it is not difficult to use this technique. You know, Yi Zan is a great god who integrates Gudodama, truth-seeking ball, let alone Doden, earth style including Mokuten, wood style, Hyoten, ice style, Jinten, particle style, he can be used easily. Protecting O'Hara, Yi Zan began to think about how to develop Robin's little loli, and at this moment, a cold air fell from the sky and slowly condensed into a figure. Ah! Qingzi was going to pretend to say a few scenes, but when he saw Yizan, his heart jumped and he took a step back subconsciously. It's you. Yo, Qingji, how are you? Yi Xuanan blinked his eyes, looking very cute. What a ghost. Qingzi cursed in his heart, but there was no expression on his face. He felt that the whole person was not good, and he just took a task of slaughtering demons. Why is it so unlucky? And the super master who defeated Kizaru in one move is a big boss. Why did I meet it? 900 Qingzi looked at Yizan resentfully, feeling that his whole life had lost its color. As one of the lieutenant generals who attacked Nine Snake Island at the beginning, if Qingzi was asked to choose the person he didn't want to be his opponent, Qingzi would definitely vote for Yizan. Fighting with Yizan is too suffocating. Not only has the ability to control the seawater, but also the speed is amazing, and the strength is terrifying. Yo, Qingji, why don't you talk? What are you thinking about? Missing a daughter-in-law? Why do you look like an Alzheimer's? Yizan's cute voice made Qingzi almost cry. He stared at Yizan resentfully, put his hand in Kabuto, and quickly took out a phone bug. Hey, General Sengoku. Qingzi's resentful voice made Sengoku on the other end of the phone a little puzzled. He was sitting in the headquarters office eating senbei. What did Qingzi suddenly call to find him? Lieutenant General Qingzi, what's the matter with me? Is the mission over? No, the mission is not over, and there is. I don't take this mission. I want to go home. Qingzi's increasingly resentful tone made Sengoku more and more puzzled. What's the situation? Give up the mission. He knew very well what Qingji was like, and Qingji would never give up on his mission. Lieutenant General Qingzi, what happened? Nothing happened. I encountered a strong enemy that was absolutely irresistible. I want to apply and give up the mission. Qingzi was extremely wronged. The pitiful voice made Sengoku speechless. He suddenly put down the senbei in his hand and said with a domineering face, Lieutenant General Qingzi. Have you forgotten the oath of the Navy? Give up when you encounter an enemy. It's not your style. Even Whitebeard or Roger, I believe you have the power to fight. Tell me, who is the opponent? The man who controls the sea. Then. Click. The phone bug was directly hung up. Damn, fortunately I have a quick response, so I can pretend I didn't hear it. The person who can control the seawater. Aokiji, you've worked hard, I pray for you, and go all the way. Sengoku patted lightly. His own heart was obviously proud of his ingenuity. However. Blue blue blue. Phone worm rang again, and Sengoku was slightly taken aback, although he made a more awesome move. No answer. Sengoku made a decision. After all, once it is connected, Aokiji asks for support, or retreats. What should I do? But. Blue, blue blue, blue blue blue. The phone bug kept ringing. It could imitate the expression of the person using the phone, and it looked at Sengoku with a sullen face, as if to accuse Sengoku of atrocities with the voice of the phone. In the end, however, Sengoku refuses to answer the phone bug, leaving Qingzi above O'Hara with black lines. That. Qingji glanced at Yizan carefully, and asked cautiously, can I leave? Yizan looked at Qingzi in surprise. Qingzi actually escaped. This refreshed his worldview. He always thought Qingzi was a cool person who liked to pretend. I didn't expect you to be such a person. I'm ashamed of the entire Navy. Hey, why are you embarrassed by the Navy? You are obviously the enemy of the Navy. Also, what do you mean by, I am such a person? What's wrong with me? Qingzi roared at Yizan angrily with a bang. Before the voice fell, his whole person turned into ice crystals and rose toward the sky. Can't be provoked, can't I hide? Thinking of this, Aokiji immediately prepared to leave, and at this moment. Boom! There was a huge explosion, and the solid earth wall actually broke a hole, and a heat wave hit, and gradually condensed into another figure. Akainu, why are you here? I'll come and see what's going on. Akainu said, looking at Yizan with a serious face. The arrival of Akainu made Chingzi never expect that he was ready to run, but since Akainu, how could he still run? If he ran away and Akainu died in Yizan's hands, his crime would be completely changed. From escaping from a battle to killing a colleague, it is very serious. Chingzi thought about what to do for a while with a tangled face, but Yizan glanced at Akainu, and curled his lips in disdain. Yo, what a big dog. Who are you talking about? The terrifying heat ignited, and Akainu stared at Yizan with a cold face. No one in the room asked, but you have to ask a question, why are you so smart, you know what I'm talking about. Yizan giggled provocatively, causing Akainu to clench his fist suddenly, his eyes bursting with murderous intent. Whoever insults me will die. Huh. Yuhi light flashed, and the red dog turned into magma and attacked Yizan. Yizan shook his head casually, his figure flashed and disappeared instantly. You use magma, I'll use ice, let's play. Yizan said with a smile, his body suddenly burst out with a biting cold. Hyoten, ice style, demonic mirroring ice crystals. Quote. Chapter 29-provocative Akainu. Of Yizan's Hyoten, ice style, has already surpassed the limit of the Shui Wuyu clan. At that moment, 500 ice mirrors condensed in all the surrounding spaces in the sky and on the ground. Canine freeze. When surrounded by ice crystals, Akainu knew that he was going to suffer. With his full power to activate the devil fruit, the temperature that had dropped to freezing point rose again. Ice cubes shattered and turned into a large amount of flowing water, the steam filled the sky, and the dark Yuhi and white gold magma rose into the sky. The dog bites Yuhi Lotus. Akainu shouted loudly, his right arm turned into a dark Yuhi dragon, roaring towards Yi-Zan. Yo, there's still some strength, but if it's just like this, the next move will be yours. Yizan raised his finger with a smile and tapped it on the magma dragon's head. The ice of -273 degrees Celsius instantly froze the magma dragon and shattered it into slag. So strong. Seeing Yizan blocking his move with one finger, Akainu's face became more and more ugly. He had seen Yizan's power on Nine Snake Island long ago, but he did not expect that Yizan could actually use ice, and he used ice. The ability is stronger than Chingzi. His face was extremely gloomy, and he was even more angry when he was mocked by Yizan. He knew that he could not beat Yizan. Chingzi, are you watching from the side? The angry Akainu vented his anger on Chingzi. Chingzi sighed lightly, knowing that at this moment, he couldn't do anything. There are several reasons why he didn't want to take action. First, he was really frightened by Yizan. Second, if Yizan wanted to keep O'Hara from being destroyed, he would still recognize it in his heart. He is different from Akainu. Akainu is more like a dog run by the world government, instilled with absolute justice since childhood and will not think independently. Compared with Akainu, Aokiji seems more rational, and because of this, Aokiji knows what the Navy's slaughtering order means this time. He originally did not agree with the Navy's approach, which is why he has been grinding for so long. Don't be impulsive. Seeing that Akainu was about to attack Yizan, Chingzi finally grabbed Akainu. Facing Akainu's incomprehensible gaze, he sighed softly and said seriously, even if we both attack together, we won't be able to fight. Don't be impulsive. Chingzi's voice was very calm, and he didn't know if it was the extra power that the frozen fruit gave him. His voice quickly lowered the anger in Akainu's heart. After hearing Chingzi's persuasion, Akainu clenched his fist tightly. Finally, he glared at Yizan, turned and walked out of the broken earth wall. That hole is a dog hole, are you sure you want to drill? What? I said, the hole you made just now is a dog hole. You got in like a puppy, are you going to get out now? Yizan continued to provoke, and even dug out a ball of booger sticking to it. Lightly flicked, and hit Akainu. Akainu was furious and was about to try his best, but was pulled back by Aokiji again. He's irritating you, hold your breath, you'll lose if you're angry. Akainu's words made Akainu once again suppress the flames in his heart. He squeezed his fist tightly, and his fist made a rattling sound. Let's go. Akainu glared at Yizan again, turned to leave. Yizan raised his hand with a smile, and gestured with his middle finger towards Akainu's back. Cowardly dog. Bastard. I can't take it anymore. After repeated insults, Akainu finally couldn't bear the anger in his heart, roared, turned and rushed towards Yizan. Chingzi, if you're afraid, get out. I don't need your help. Big fire spit. Boom. Akainu's fist turned into a supergiant red-gold magma fist, and the magma spurted violently, and even the surrounding air was evaporated by this high temperature, turning into a terrifying vacuum. Seeing Akainu rushing over, Yizan's mouth burst into a wicked smile. It's so simple to be provoked. Should I say that you are bold? Or are you an idiot? Yizan looked at the red dog. Chakras appeared on his body, and quickly formed a white robe, and the white robe was patchwork. There are many black strips distributed on the robe, and the black tomo at the neckline is evenly arranged, and behind him, several black Gudodama truth-seeking ball revolve around Yizan. Wave tilde. As if the blisters had burst, with a very soft voice, Akainu was shocked to find that his moves were wiped out by the black shield in front of the opponent. Trash, with your little magma trying to destroy my Gudodama truth-seeking ball. Bastard, do you really think this thing can stop my attack? Akainu shouted, his body turned into an overwhelming rush of magma. He quickly bypassed the black round shield formed by Gudodama truth-seeking ball from the left, attacking from the side towards Yizan. Cut. Go around in circles. I thought it was so awesome. Yizan pouted in disdain, raised his hands, and two different types of terrifying chakra appeared in his palms. Come and try the idea I just came up with. Sweden, water style. Hard whirlpool water blade. Quote. Futon, wind style. Spiral thrust. A wind Uzumaki and a water Uzumaki appeared. Yizan laughed wickedly, and suddenly put his hands together. Boom. The two violently rotating ninjutsu collided together, and an even more amazing power erupted. The wind sandwiched the water, and the water sandwiched the wind, instantly shattering the elemental Akainu. Beat the reservoir dog. Hyoten, ice style. 10,000 ice petals. Countless Bing Chinbin directly stabbed the red dog, making the magnetization of the red dog almost completely invalid. It was just a touch. Without using One Piece's domineering abilities, Yizan won a complete victory. No way, Yizan's ninjutsu is still relatively strong in restraining the natural devil fruit. In fact, compared with the natural devil fruit, the superhuman devil fruit Yizan can't perform natural restraint. Magma exploded, breaking free from Hyoten's ice-style attack again, but at this moment, Akainu was a little tired, and the fruit person's ability to use the ability will consume physical strength, and because of Yizan's strength, every time he fights, he will consume a lot of physical strength. I understand. If you use devil fruit to deal with you, you will be restrained instead. Akainu said with a gloomy face. Oh, so, you still refuse to admit defeat. It's really a dog, so if you bite someone, you won't let go. Yizan shook his head helplessly. But it was such a careless appearance that made Akainu furious again. He shouted violently and raised his right foot with all his strength. In an instant, the air was torn apart, and a shock wave appeared. 6th Naval Style, Lanjiao. Chapter 30-Flying Squirrel. Shish. Several sharp wind blades attacked Yizan, but these sharp blades are not energy, but an existence similar to air formed purely by kicking the air with extremely high speed. Yo, physique. It's just right, let's compare. Yizan smirked. Since Akainu took the initiative to come up and be abused, he would not be polite. Back then, he followed Might Dai to practice physique and also won the award from the 8 inner gates. Open method. Entering the 6 paths level, it is not difficult to open the 8 inner gates. View door, open, morning peacock. Boom. A terrifying aura bloomed, and Yizan smashed the legs of the slashes with his hands. He rushed to Akainu's side at a speed invisible to the naked eye, and slammed the air with both hands. The burning air shot out and hit Akainu, instantly smashing it into magma fragments. At the same time, a smirk flashed across Yizan's mouth, and his fist suddenly turned purple-black. Armament hockey. Boom. There was a loud noise, blood splashed, and the elemental Akainu turned back into its original body. He vomited blood, and his eyes were full of shock. What are you surprised about? Do you really think I'm not domineering? Idiot. Yizan smirked, and smashed his terrifying fist at Akainu again. Click. The ice cube shattered. Yizan's punch smashed into a piece of solid ice, but with the ice blocking it, Akainu avoided the attack when Kyonjin hit. Chingzi. Yizan was stunned for a moment, then found that several more people rushed in from the broken earth wall, including Chingzi and Akainu. There were 5 people in total. Have all the lieutenant generals of Tumoling come here. Yizan glanced at the 3 lieutenant generals not far away, and curled his lips in disdain. Hey, you. It's you 3, know how eggs walk. Is it right? How do the eggs go? You give me how to go. Yizan's words made the 3 lieutenant generals puzzled. They stared at Yizan blankly, not understanding what the other party suddenly said. A bunch of idiots. The egg is round, it's natural to get out, understand? Get out. How dare you let us go away? It's okay, I'm just an idiot, I haven't reached the point of dementia, I can understand people's words. Yizan lazily turned over the Byakugan, the golden force field spread, and instantly enveloped the 3 new lieutenant generals. Give me save face and leave like an egg. Yizan's words completely angered the 3 new lieutenant generals. The 3 of them shouted at the same time and rushed towards Yizan frantically. The golden force field turned into a dual, Yuhi color force field. Obviously, the 3 new lieutenant generals disobeyed Yizan's orders. This is a good thing for Yizan. He can have more fun. It's just pity for you, don't you know that the number of people is meaningless to me? It's also the lieutenant general and the general. Yizan said shyly, clapping his hands, and the stopped momentum surged again. The 6th gate, Jingmun, open. Boom. The terrifying momentum bloomed again, making Akainu and Chingzi also keep up with the pace of the 3 lieutenants. They had to keep up. They were really worried that Yizan would kill the 3 colleagues in one move. Everyone, be careful, his physical skills are comparable to those who are skilled in practicing the 6th form of the Navy. Akainu quickly yelled at everyone. Comparable. Idiot, are you kidding me? Do you really think that the previous battle was the limit of my true martial arts? Morning Peacock. Quote. Countless Yuhi-colored flames spread directly into a sphere with Yizan as the center. What kind of skill is this? How is it the same as Lieutenant General Akainu's meteor shower? Idiot, hide. Boom 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 boom. The flaming fists scattered all over the sky hit 5 people. Akainu and Chingzi escaped by elementalization, but the other 3 lieutenants suffered varying degrees of injuries. Hey, I didn't expect you guys to be pretty good, there are still a few who can persevere. Yizan's calm voice sounded. Although Yizan's voice was calm, but everyone present was condensed. Yizan's attack just now really surprised everyone. They were injured when they chose to avoid it. If they really hit it hard, everyone really didn't know what the result would be. Who the hell are you? Why do you want to intervene in the slaughtering order? Don't you know that this is against the world government? Do you know that your current behavior is in the company of the devil? Finally, a lieutenant general couldn't help but stand up. He glared at Yizan angrily, like a virgin whore, standing on the commanding heights of morality and taking responsibility for Yizan. My name is Yizan. It's a god. Who are you? Why do you look like a thief? People in the Navy are really clueless. Such people will affect the public's impression of the Navy. Watch your words. You can call me Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel. Oh, no wonder it looks like a mouse. You. Hey, little mouse, don't be impulsive. As for me, I don't want to get involved in the slaughtering order, and I don't want to have a dime relationship with the world government, but the key is that someone will deal with me, and I'm not the kind of person who can't be caught. Yizan mouth corners with a smile. Besides, isn't it normal to be in the company of demons? Devil fruit contains demons, aren't all devil fruit-capable people in the company of demons? Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel didn't know how to answer Yizan's words, but at this moment, Akainu stood up and looked at Yizan with murderous eyes. Don't talk nonsense with this person, kill it as soon as possible, and wipe out all the sins. HMPH, Akainu, this is what you asked for. Yizan's smile finally subsided when he heard the killing intent in Akainu's language. He stared at Akainu coldly, his aura was surging. I secured O'Hara today. The art of Horaitian. Swish. In an instant, Yizan disappeared. What happened? Where is the person? Yizan's sudden disappearance made Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel hurriedly glance around, but couldn't find it. Flying Squirrel, watch out. Boom. With a loud bang, Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel felt a huge force hit his back. He didn't even have a reaction, and his brain stopped working. Poof. Lieutenant Flying Squirrel fell to the ground covered in blood, was severely injured by Yizan's blow, and fell into a coma. Chapter 31 Akainu broke his arm. Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel. Yizan's attack shocked the other four. At this moment, Yizan didn't stop attacking. He squeezed his hands tightly, as if something was brewing. Seventh door. Start the door, open. Boom. The blue steam rose, and the moment it bloomed, a terrifying hurricane blew out. The power beyond imagination shocked everyone, and even Akainu grew his mouth blankly. Jingmun, the last gate in front of the 8 inner gates, the body begins to emit blue steam produced by the evaporation of sweat, which can release high-pressure gas bombs of pure physical attack. Yizan held his head arrogantly, and the blue steam on his body continued to rise. He glanced at Akainu, and the momentum on his body gradually condensed into his fist. This move of mine is to hit the air with an extremely high-speed positive punch, forming a very high pressure and then compressing it into a tiger-shaped attack. The attack range is probably that big. Yizan gestured with both hands exaggeratedly, instantly making everyone speechless. So big, I'm still so small. It's not a child anymore, and the specific values can't be estimated. 30. Do you want to be so childish? Everyone complained loudly in their hearts, but at this moment, everyone has no heart to think about this, because tiger. Following Yizan's words, a bizarre tiger made up of strength quickly attacked the crowd. Quote exclamation mark. As if nothing had happened, as if it had already happened, when Akainu and Qingzi reacted, their eyes widened and their heads slowly lowered. They were shocked to see that a big hole appeared in their hearts at some point. The big hole was so big that it almost cut them in two. At the same time, behind the two of them, a terrifying explosion sounded like a tiger roar. Boom! The shocking explosion shook the entire island of O'Hara, and the shock wave generated by the explosion hit the ocean, setting off a huge wave of 100 meters. What a fast speed! What a terrifying power! The two of them were shocked, and they had unprecedented fear. They can't even react to take the initiative to elementalize themselves, but rely on the properties of the natural devil fruit, and the body will undergo natural elementalization after being attacked. And most importantly, at this moment, Yizan's fist turned purple-black. Next blow is an attack with armament haki, that is to say, if the two of them cannot escape, they will die. Akainu and Aokiji were terrified, and their feet were softened. No matter how strong they were always human, and death was something everyone was worried about and feared. At this moment, the two of them were genuine feel the threat of death. One more shot. Armament haki. Hikari. Run. Call out. Ah. The rays of light flew by, blood filled the sky, and with the violent vibration of the entire O'Hara, Akainu changed from a large amount of magma back to its original body. He screamed in pain, and a large amount of blood continued to spurt from his left shoulder. Before Yizan launched the attack, Qingzi and Akainu wanted to escape, but Yizan deliberately aimed at Akainu and destroyed Akainu's left arm with one blow. Fear. Great horror. Not only Qingzi and Akainu, but the two lieutenant generals next to them were also very frightened when they saw all this. The place that was attacked by the day tiger seemed to be plowed through by a huge cannonball. Even the most powerful cannonball of the Navy could not blow up such a big hole. What should I do? Do you want to retreat? Yamanaka, who was already scared to pee, swallowed, and his heart was already full of retreat. Let's run. Qingzi nodded lightly. A strong enemy like Yizan, with their few lieutenant generals, was not an opponent at all. Everyone was cowardly, and they were all ready to retreat, but at this time, Akainu suddenly widened his eyes and shouted out words that everyone could not believe. Don't go back. Don't retreat. Akainu, who lost his left arm, roared like a gambler who lost Yuhi's eyes, but everyone was unwilling to continue. The disparity in strength between the two sides was too great. Thinking of this, Huo Shaoshan finally stopped listening to Akainu's words. Anyway, everyone is a lieutenant general. Although Akainu has a higher status in the Navy because of the nature, retreating is a good strategy in the face of an irresistible enemy. He quickly picked up Lieutenant General Flying Squirrel, who was seriously injured and comatose, and rushed towards the broken soil wall at the fastest speed in his life. Retreat. The Navy retreated, and the demon-slaying order failed. Watching everyone leave, Yizan slowly put away the Tuiliu city that had been guarding the entire O'Hara. He looked not far away, and again hand seal, lifted the seal enchantment that had been protecting Robin and Alvia. The sealing barrier was transparent. Robin and Alvia watched the entire battle. Robin looked at Yizan in astonishment, his face full of surprise and admiration. What's wrong? Yizan patted Robin's head gently, feeling a little nervous. Of course he knew how strongly his actions shocked Robin. These ultimate moves in the Hokage 987 world, not to mention Robin, even if Roger or Whitebeard saw it, they would be shocked. Whether it's the towering city wall like a city wall, or the morning peacock with brilliant special effects, or the day tiger who kills everything in one blow, Robin, the little loli who has been staying in O'Hara, knows everything. It turns out that the world is not so simple. And more importantly, Robin knew that in addition to the tactics and persuasion recorded in the book, there is a more violent way to stop the war, and that is absolute power. Seeing the many large warships leave in such a dismal manner, Robin's little heart suffered a huge impact. She silently looked at her hands, and the flowers and fruits condensed into some arms, and then quickly dissipated into petals. At this moment, Robin knew the role of power, absolute power, more important than any wisdom. Are you really a god? Robin looked at Yizan and asked. You think I am, you think I am not, then it's not. Who made me like you? Yizan squatted down and kissed Robin gently on the forehead. At that moment, Robin was shy, lowered his head. But, they all say I'm a devil. Chapter 32-Ready to Force. Hearing Robin's words, Yizan directly hugged Robin in his arms. Feeling the unique softness of Loli, Yizan comforted with a smile. Don't pay attention to them, they are all idiots. We people, called devil fruit capable people, obtained inhuman power because of eating devil fruit. That powerful power will make people fear, so they will be called it. The devil. Holding up Robin, who seemed to understand but not understanding, Yizan turned his eyes to Alvia. The beautiful and mature woman in front of him made Yizan smile with a wicked smile. He didn't say anything, but held Robin towards the court. Go to O'Hara Library. Let's go. You and I will naturally not be able to live in O'Hara in the future. I know that you and Robin both like books, so we will empty the library. I will not treat you badly. Yizan's words made Alvia stunned for a moment, and there was a hint of disbelief in his eyes. O'Hara's library is almost the largest library in the world. Evacuate. Move with what? Don't doubt me. Don't question me. Just follow me. You and Robin will be my people in the future. I don't like my woman questioning me. Bah, who said to be your woman? Asshole. Seeing the back of Yizan holding Robin and walking away, Olivia spat lightly, a dizziness appeared on her cheek. She followed up briskly, and she didn't know the reason. She was in a very good mood, and the corners of her mouth showed a faint smile. O'Hara has been retained, and Robin has recognized me. Today, it's a good day. Yizan made several super storage scrolls in a few days, and despite the obstruction of Dr. Kuroha and other scholars, he forcibly took away the books in the entire library. Before he could leave O'Hara, the Navy a large number of wanted notices were issued, all of whom were O'Hara scholars. 1 million Baileys, 2 million Baileys. Dr. Kuroha is the most powerful among scholars, and is worth 10 million Baileys, but Yizan, Robin, and Alvia's wanted orders are the same as others. Different. Yizan, nickname, Devil, reward amount, 1 billion Bailey. Close black lens bracket. Ahahaha, a bunch of funny people. Yizan pointed at the reward order in his hand, and put it next to his face. Little Robin, nay, look here, does it look like it? Robin shook his head and said suspiciously, although the portrait is exactly the same as you, why do I feel like I'm not alone? It's temperament. Alvia came over, and when she saw Yizan's bad eyes, she turned her head away a little shyly. Bastard. Robin and I are just following you according to the agreement, but it doesn't mean anything. Don't think about it. Humph. Yizan smirked and didn't argue with Alvia. He put one arm around Robin and put little Robin in his arms. Look, Robin, this is your wanted order. Ah. Robin snorted softly, his cheeks were a little shy. Yuhi, on his wanted list. It was when Yizan was fighting that he looked at Yizan's battle with admiration. Robin, nickname, Son of the Devil, reward amount, 100 million Bailey. Requirement, survive. Survive. What's the meaning? Yizan was slightly stunned. He didn't understand why Robin's wanted order was specially added to survive. He narrowed his eyes slightly, and with his wisdom, he only needed to think carefully to guess a general idea. The devil, the child of the devil, survive. Hee. Interesting. Yizan's eyes flashed with icy colors. After thinking for a while, he understood why Robin's reward order required survival status. In the final analysis, it was all because of himself. The world government wanted to use Robin to threaten OWN. A very clever strategy, from Marshal Kong. Or from Staff He. But, Yizan's eyes became colder and colder. He let go of the Navy several times because he was too strong to play with the Navy. If the Navy was destroyed in one go, the world would be no fun, but tigers don't show their power. Think I'm a sick cat. Let your Navy go twice. Do you really think I dare not kill people? It seems it's time to let the world know about my horror. Yizan is a laughing optimist, and he is very casual about everything. Since Yizan came to the world of One Piece, to be honest, in Yizan's view, there is really no battle in the true sense. All battles in Yizan's view, it was all a joke, and he was not a murderer, so there was no need to cause bloodshed in this world. But now it seems that people in this world should know that I, Yizan, are not something that cats and dogs can provoke. But to be reasonable, even if the Navy is to be punished, what kind of punishment can not only deter the Navy, but also make him pretend to be forced? It's not fun if you don't pretend. This time, you have to pretend to be a big guy. Would you like to be a pirate? Boring. There is no deterrent. Yizan thought while holding his chin. Would you like to stop attacking the Tianlong people? Forget it. A group of weak people, don't go. If you pretend to be forceful, you should pretend to be forceful to the strong. By the way, the Navy headquarters. Quote. Thinking of this, Yizan's mouth cracked with an evil smile. How about, go to the Navy headquarters to play? Well, such a happy decision. Thinking of this, Yizan squinted his eyes and smiled like a rat stealing oil. Robin in his arms happened to see that silly appearance. Brother Zahn, what are you laughing at? So stupid, Robin said innocently, and what he said suddenly stopped Yizan's smile. So stupid, so stupid. Yizan looked at Robin with a stiff face, blinked his eyes, looking extremely pitiful. Robin, you say that to me, I am very sad, my heart is broken. It's really broken, piece by piece. If you don't believe me, touch it. As Yizan said, he grabbed Robin's soft and tender little hand and pressed it against his heart. His heart was pounding with strength, and Robin's strong masculinity immediately made Robin shy. Bad brother, let me go. Robin struggled with Yuhi's expression on his face, but he was weak. Don't, you broke my heart. If you need treatment, your hands are the best way to treat it. Yizan teased Robin without Yuhi's breath. Looking at Robin's shy expression, he felt the whole people are much more comfortable. Yizan hugged Robin like this, and Robin obediently did not continue to struggle. Feeling Yizan's strong heartbeat, Robin's heart gradually calmed down. Robin has always felt a sense of wandering and helpless, and this time, Robin felt what is called love, and this feeling made Robin fascinated. A few days later, Yizan left O'Hara with Robin and Alvia. While leaving, Yizan used Shadow Clone to create a clone and walked towards the naval fortress closest to O'Hara. Yizan's clone came to the gate of the fortress, and he was not polite at all. He stood on the sea like this, and the terrifying chakra rushed towards the sea. Sweeten, water style. Great exploding water colliding wave. Quote. Boom. The supergiant tsunami with an area of up to 10 kilometers washed away the entire naval fortress in an instant, submerging most of the navy inside. Tell the admiral, I have taken a fancy to the site of your naval headquarters. I know that there are many people in your naval headquarters, so I will give you half a month. After half a month, I will go to take over the site, and that piece of land is not allowed to stay. Anyone else, don't blame me for turning my back. Chapter 33-Thief. Half a month passed in a flash. Yizan's propaganda half a month ago shocked the whole world. Pirates, navy, civilians, the whole world is spreading this thing. Who on earth dares to provoke the whole navy? Soon, Yizan's bottom was dug out. 9 Snake Island forced back General Sengoku and 3 natural lieutenant generals. O'Hara Island forced back the slaughtering order, destroyed Lieutenant General Akainu's left arm, can control seawater, can control ice, and can use superpowers that surpass the Navy's 6th style. Taiju, with unparalleled speed and power. The whole world is boiling, and it is enough to be shocked by the super powerhouse who was born out of nowhere, but at this moment, this powerhouse is actually going to challenge the entire Navy headquarters. You must know that the Navy headquarters is the most important combat power of the world government. There are many strong people in it, and no one can compete. Marshal Sora, known as Steel Bone, Sengoku the intelligent general, as well as a dozen lieutenant generals, dozens of brigadier generals, and countless school-level and captain-level powerhouses. Not only that, but the Navy also has the hero, Garp in the Legend of 703. All the combat power combined can control most of the world by force. But now, there is a strong man born out of nowhere, ready to single-handedly take on the Navy headquarters. Well, it's just a heads up. What do you think about the withdrawal of the Navy headquarters? Do you think the Navy is possible? This is clearly a challenge, and for such an unscientific thing, the Navy headquarters has recalled most of the elites distributed in the world, including Garp who is chasing Roger, and also called back. Because the Navy headquarters is very serious, and let the world know that this mysterious powerhouse will really come. The whole world is boiling, and reporters from all over the world are also flocking to the Navy headquarters frantically. Live streaming. Be sure to live stream. Reporters from all forces around the world put pressure on it, and in the end, the Navy reluctantly gave in and accepted the live broadcast. While the Navy headquarters was in full swing. Inside the Navy headquarters, a pirate roamed around everywhere. Every time I meet a Navy general, I instantly become serious and salute to the general. For a while, no one noticed something was wrong. This sea soldier is none other than Yizan. If you let others know that the enemy the Navy wants to guard against is now wandering around in the Navy headquarters, the result will definitely make countless people drop their jaws. In fact, this is also very normal. Concealment is a compulsory course for every ninja. In addition, there is the transformation technique in the 3-body technique. Don't forget how Yizan wandered in the country of water when he was a child. His super psychological quality and camouflage skills are simply not something that this group of admirals can see through. Yizan not only wandered around the Navy headquarters by himself, but even brought Robin to the Navy headquarters to play. Crunch. With the sound of the door opening, Yi-zan Thief slipped into a wide and bright room. In the room, Robin sat quietly on the stool, holding a book in his hand and watching with relish. After hearing the sound of the door, Robin suddenly raised his head and saw Yi-zan was relieved. "Hey, little sister, you are reading alone, do you want to play with your brother?" Yi-zan Thief smiled and walked slowly to Robin's side. Robin snorted lightly, ignored Yi-zan, and put his eyes on the book again. "What, are you still angry? Okay, isn't it just playing in the Navy headquarters? How interesting it is, think about it, those people are yelling at me, who knows that I live under my nose like that at ease?" "Humph, not at all comfortable, do you know that I'm worried about you?" Robin pouted slightly. She refused to accompany Yi-zan to the Navy headquarters at first, like a thief, taking every step carefully for fear of being discovered. Although she didn't know what ability Yi-zan used to hide her, she was still worried. "Hey, don't worry, I'm strong, you didn't see it, you're sitting here, who can come in except me?" Yi-zan smiled comfortingly, rubbing Robin's hair lightly. "Your mother also, don't play with us. Mom said you were annoying, so you accompany you." "Ah, Alvia actually said I was annoying. Woohoo, I'm sad." Yi-zan faked crying with a grieved face, but his hands were tightly around Robin's waist. Not only that, Lingjiji had already placed his hand on Robin's butt, and pinched it lightly, causing a dizziness to appear on Robin's pretty face. "Bad brother, what do you want to do?" "Before going out, my mother said that girls' ass can't be touched by boys casually, saying that all those who touch my butt are villains." "Brother, you really are a villain." "Bah, Robin, don't listen to your mother, she lied to you, remember, your ass can only be touched by me. If other boys approach you, don't let them touch you," Yi-zan said. Without waiting for Robin to react, his head lowered, and he directly choked Robin's lips. Little loli, S lips are soft and waxy. Sweet. After an unknown time, her lips finally separated, and Robin's face Yuhi was buried in Yi-zan's arms. Although she was too young to understand this kind of thing, she was still very shy. "Hate." She gasped slightly, leaning against Yi-zan's arms, and was reluctant to leave. She really liked this kind of embrace so much. It was warm, comfortable, and full of security. Yi-zan and Robin were frolicking in a certain room of the Navy headquarters. Outside, all the masters of the Navy headquarters gathered together, waiting for Yi-zan's arrival, because this time only Yi-zan was the enemy, but all the most elite soldiers in the Navy moved to other places. In this level of battle, soldiers are useless except to die. The soldiers retreated to prevent unnecessary losses, but in addition to the general, colonel and lieutenant level masters in the naval headquarters, there are also a group of reporters. Live streaming. Yes, these crazy reporters, completely disregarding their own lives, stayed in the Navy headquarters for live broadcast. Silence, unparalleled silence. The live broadcast was quiet, and many navies were waiting in earnest, all quietly waiting for Yi-zan's arrival. Chapter 34_Release Pigeons. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. From the time the sun rose, everyone began to wait for Yi-zan's return. However, after the scorching sun was high in the sky, Yi-zan's figure had no intention of appearing. "What about the surveillance around you?" "There is no news yet, and I haven't seen anyone approaching. It's just that many big pirate ships have appeared at the end of the coastline and seem to be watching us." "Don't worry about those big pirates, try your best to find Yi-zan." "Yes." Time continues to pass as the conversation continues. As time passed, a thought rose in everyone's heart. Isn't it because the pigeons were released? Everyone thought about this, and even Marshal Sora frowned with some doubts. "Sengoku, do you think he will come?" Will come," Sengoku said uncertainly. "If Yi-zan really didn't come, then their navy would be embarrassed. But, what if it really doesn't come?" Thinking of this, Sengoku carefully swept the distance, and found that the group of reporters were staring at the ocean in front of them intently, and the photographer next to him was working hard to carry the camera to live broadcast. At this moment, Yi Zan, who was watching all this in the Navy headquarters, touched his chin, and also began to think about whether he would appear or not. Why don't you try putting pigeons on your own? Speaking of which, I haven't tried putting so many people's pigeons before. Yi Zan held his chin in distress, but if he released pigeons, he couldn't let the Navy know about him. It's amazing. With Yi Zan's entanglement, time passed more slowly. Numerous navies have been waiting for half a day, and in this high-intensity alert, many navies have felt a lot of exhaustion. Marshal. At this time, Akainu, who was waiting beside him, finally quietly barked at Marshal Kong. What's wrong? Marshal Sora asked in a low voice. I want to go to the toilet. Akainu said, Yuhi's face brightening. As a senior leader of the Navy headquarters, Akainu and others have always stood by Marshal Sora, and as Marshal Sora, as the general person in charge of this operation, the live broadcast footage has been turned around every now and then, and everyone has not had time until now. Go to the toilet. Hearing Akainu say that, I want to go too. Me too. Everyone whispered to the Marshal Sora. Shut up, I've wanted to go for a long time. Marshal Sora said to the crowd with a face flushed Yuhi. At this time, everyone saw that Marshal Sora's legs were unnaturally merging, and it was obvious that they had been holding back for a long time. No one noticed. At this moment, Yi Xuanzheng was standing silently not far behind Marshal Kong. He used his powerful mental power to create a demonic illusion barrier and successfully concealed himself. Hearing everyone's conversation, Yi Zan felt that he needed to wait a little longer. If possible, he could pour water, blow whistles, etc. Then, Marshal Kong and the others heard the sound of a thin stream of water whistling, and a faint whistle made everyone feel that they were rushing in. Who is it? Following Marshal Sora's words, many high-ranking generals began to glance around. But the mouths of everyone around didn't move at all, and the whistling sound was always lingering in everyone's ears. Damn, I can't hold back. Bastard, who the hell is whistling? Hey, everyone calm down, hold back, this is the world's live broadcast, don't be ashamed. Calm down, Aokiji, don't you want to go to the toilet? Facing everyone's doubts, Aokiji just nodded lightly, casually pointed to a small pile of ice cubes at his feet. It's very simple, don't forget my devil fruit. Hearing Qingzi's words, everyone stared at the small pile of ice cubes in astonishment, and suddenly felt that there was a faint arrogance in the air around them. Not only the Navy masters were stunned by Qingzi's performance, but even Yi Zan behind him was stunned by Qingzi's behavior. Only then did he realize what a strange flower is, and he actually used the characteristics of frozen fruit to pee in the public. Yes, the little yellowish ice cubes piled up together are Qingzi's urine. It's a lot of experience, tisk. Yi Zan smirked, his fingers moved slightly, and a large number of invisible chakra threads were launched like spider silk, connected to all the cameras, and aimed the cameras at the group of Navy masters. Enlarge, enlarge. Yi Zan used the chakra lines flexibly, and soon, the camera lens continued to zoom in, specifically aiming at the special parts of these people. What's wrong with these people? The audience all over the world looked at the Navy master suspiciously. They had the same doubts in their hearts and didn't know what happened. Everyone looked at the funny looks of many high-ranking naval officers as if they were watching pantomime, and they were a little surprised. Because Yi Zan's behavior was quiet, the Navy master didn't realize that the live broadcast cameras were all aimed at him. Everyone tucked their legs and whispered to each other, completely unaware that the Navy's prestige was rapidly declining under this circumstance. Yi Zan played like this for a long time, until the sun turned west. He finally yawned a little bored and decided to show up. Since they are so pitifully waiting for me, then I will show up with great mercy. When Yi Zan thought like this, too many people thought that Yi Zan had released the Navy pigeons. Really, we let our pigeons go. Think about it too. After all, it is the headquarters of the Navy. It is the wisest choice not to go. Everyone has been discussing, and some people who don't know why have left the live broadcast. As the highest authority in the Navy, Marshal Kong also felt that Yizan would not come at this moment. He looked up at the westward sun, and finally took a step forward and issued a statement. Devil Yizan is afraid of the power of the Navy and does not dare to come. Let's stop here today, my Navy. Marshal Kong hadn't spoken yet, when suddenly, a voice interrupted his words. Wow, it's been a long time, you are waiting for me. Say it earlier. You are so big, I thought there was something going on in the Navy headquarters. I thought that my business didn't matter, so I just waited on the side. Quote. The exaggerated voice had a hint of condescension. In an instant, the Navy masters turned around and were shocked to find that at some point, a person appeared behind them. Clang clang. Countless sharp knives were unsheathed, and the captain-level Navy immediately surrounded Yizan. Chapter 35-Meteorite Falls. So handsome. Cool. I like it. At the moment when the live broadcast camera was aimed at Yizan, many women watching the live broadcast were madly looking at Yizan, who was standing in the center of the entire high-level naval headquarters. Yizan's handsome appearance, calm attitude and ruffian mouth, the smile is so handsome. Humph. This bastard. In a certain town, Alvia spit out Yuhi's face. She had to admit that Yizan was indeed the most handsome and temperamental man she had ever seen, especially the kind of bad guy. A bad feeling really kills a woman. Not only Yizan, but she also saw Robin next to Yizan. She silently stared at Robin on the TV, pursed her lips, raised her hand, and waved her fist fiercely. Bastard, take Robin to the Navy headquarters so arrogantly. If Robin has any troubles, I will beat you to death. She muttered viciously. At the scene, Yizan yawned a little tiredly. After playing all day, it was almost time to rest. Hey, I said you guys, since you're waiting for me and you've made such a big battle, what about my request? Give up the naval headquarters and agree. Give me a face and leave the naval headquarters. The golden force field spread and enveloped everyone in an instant. However, how could the Navy headquarters obey Yizan's words? At that moment, the golden force field shattered and instantly turned into a dual Yuhi color force field. Now that you're here, don't even think about leaving. Cannonballs, attack! Marshal Kong shouted loudly, and the warships on the sea in the distance actually turned their turrets at the same time, all aimed at the naval headquarters. Boom! A large number of shells filled the sky, and the terrifying power seemed to destroy the entire naval headquarters. Tisk! How dare you play a big bombing indiscriminately between the enemy and me? Then I'll come to add to the fun. Yizan smirked, and suddenly hugged Robin in his arms. The Hiraishin technique was activated, and he instantly came to the altitude of 1,000 meters. He is in heaven. Let me come. Moonstep. Cap, he's very strong. Don't rush alone. Cap, is this Carp? Seeing a tall short-haired man chasing after him with a moonstep, Yizan laughed wickedly, and the golden force field suddenly rushed towards the higher sky, rushing out of the atmosphere in one breath the stratosphere, wrapped in a cosmic meteorite. Although I don't have Rinnegan, I can imitate all of Rinnegan's abilities with the fruit ability. Meteorites are falling from the sky. Yizan let out a soft drink, and an extremely terrifying crisis instantly surged into everyone's heart. What happened? I don't know. Why do I suddenly feel scared in my heart? Why do I want to escape from here? It's nothing if one person said that, but when everyone including Marshal Kong had the same thought, their expressions changed. Cap, calm down. I know. Carp, who was halfway through, quickly retreated. He stared at Yizan in the sky with a dignified expression. As the most powerful man in the Navy, he had the strongest sense, and a crisis that could not come out made him almost impossible. Breathe. What exactly happened? Carp thought silently. The next second, his pupils shrank dramatically, and his face changed drastically. The sky is dark. A huge shadow shrouded the entire naval headquarters. Everyone stared blankly at the shadows in the sky and opened their mouths in disbelief. How is it possible? Fake, right? This is a meteorite. The Navy people looked at the sky blankly, and they saw that in the sky, a super huge boulder that covered the sky and the sun landed towards the Navy headquarters like a mountain. It's not just them who are shocked. You must know that at this moment, the whole world is broadcasting this battle live. Gadong. In front of the TV, the audience watching the live broadcast swallowed their saliva in unison, and even Whitebeard's eyes widened. The wine barrel in his hand fell to the ground at some point, but he was stupid and didn't respond at all. No wonder that Kid is unwilling to join my pirate group. Is it reachable by manpower? Whitebeard was so shocked, let alone ordinary people, and as the meteorites continued to fall, Marshal Kong finally reacted. Red Dog. Marshal Sora roared. Among all the people present, Akainu's rock berries actually possess the most powerful range-destructive power. He roared loudly at Akainu, and Akainu responded quickly. He rose into the sky with moon steps, and at the moment of liftoff, his body was already magma. Drink! Akainu shouted loudly, and the overwhelming magma seemed to erupt like a volcano, rushing towards the meteorite frantically. Meteor shower. Akainu's ultimate move was originally a super wide coverage attack against ground units, but at this moment, he burst out into the sky with all his power. Endless magma ejection, forming a real volcanic eruption. In the surging fire Yamanaka, the meteorite was wrapped in magma and slowly began to melt. In response, Yizan, who had already used Hiraishin's technique to dodge into the distance, just raised his eyelids, put one arm around Robin's waist, and dragged Robin's butt with the other, whispering something in Robin's ear whisper, without any intention of remedying it. Yizan didn't move. It was the best situation for the Navy. Everyone looked at the sky seriously, watching the meteorites and magma that were still falling. Come on Akainu. You must do your best. Our lives are in your hands. Come on. Red Dog. Everyone is praying in their hearts, including the mighty Garp, and also praying, hoping that Akainu will melt the meteorite before it arrives. In the expectation of everyone, Akainu finally melted the meteorite, and as the fatal meteorite on top of his head disappeared, they looked at Yizan again, especially Marshal Kong. He seemed to understand why Yizan was not here. Hands-on during the period. Has it consumed too much power to summon the meteorite? He silently stared at Yizan, and slowly placed his right hand on the hilt of the knife at his waist. Everyone, according to my guess, the demon Yizan has consumed too much power and is ready to attack together. As ordered. Including Karp, no one underestimated Yizan. They all stared at Yizan seriously, waiting for the command of Marshal Kong. However, at this time, Yizan just glanced at the Navy on the ground lightly, and patted his forehead as if he suddenly realized something. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot that you already melted the meteorite in 1.5, but it can really melt. It's amazing, but I'm sorry, the meteorite is not a meteorite. Yizan with a smile, he raised his finger and pointed to the sky. In the sky, because the magma melted, the sky was cloudy, and with Yizan's words, everyone felt their heartbeats slow a beat, and they subconsciously looked up at the sky. Boom! The magma of Yuhi in the sky shattered instantly. Akainu screamed and fell down covered in blood. The melting of the first meteorite had exhausted his physical strength, and he could no longer maintain the elementalization of the magma. Save him! Marshal Kong shouted loudly and used the moon step to save Akainu, but at this moment, Yizan's figure suddenly flashed and kicked Marshal Kong away with one kick. Hey, wasn't it just bombarded with cannonballs? It doesn't matter if you play the enemy or me. What can you save? Wouldn't it be better to wait for the meteorite to fall? Chapter 36-Destruction of the Navy Headquarters. Bastard. Half of the people blocked Yizan, and half of them attacked the meteorite with moon steps. Never let the meteorite fall. Being kicked away by Yizan, even Sora, who is known as Steel Bone, suffered a lot of trauma. Blood dripped from the corner of his mouth, but he quickly rushed towards Yizan, trying to hold Yizan in vain. Shave. At the moment Sora issued the order, a series of powerhouses such as Garp and Ghost Spider used, shaved, to besiege Yizan at the same time, while Qingzi, Kyabu, and a group of devil fruits with great attack range and attack power quickly rushed. Go to the sky and prepare to forcibly destroy the meteorite with strength. Humph. A bunch of idiots, more people bully less people. Yizan smirked, still holding Robin in his left hand, but his right hand quickly formed a seal. Multiple shadow clone technique. Bang bang bang. An instant, more than 100 clones appeared, and these clones broke out in futon, wind style mode at the same time, blocking the navy that soared into the sky. I've never lost compared to the number of people. Yizan laughed shyly, but made Marshal Kong Ning frown 30 times. Ninja, Sora asked suspiciously. Yizan's multiple shadow clone reminded him of a profession. In fact, there is a profession of ninja in the world of One Piece. The two professions of ninja and swordsman exist in One Piece, but because of the powerful and easy to obtain power of devil fruit, few people like to spend a lot of time and energy on cultivation. Ninjas and swordsmen. If it's a ninja, these figures should be fake. As if thinking of something, a smile appeared on Sora's face. He used the ninja ability possessed by Pirate World to speculate on Yizan's avatars, knowing that these avatars were fake. Not only that, but at this moment, he even knew Yizan's biggest trump card. Ninja. Yizan is a ninja. Yizan is most afraid of the Navy's various abilities. Everyone doesn't know whether Yizan is a devil fruit person or something else. Now, Marshal Kong has finally figured out Yizan's occupation. It's a pity that Marshal Kong doesn't know that Yizan's ninja profession is not inherited from One Piece, but from Hokage ninja. Although the two worlds have the same profession, their strengths are vastly different. Boom, underscore. The terrifying chakra waves bloomed, and all of Yizan's shadow clones were instantly covered by a holy white robe. There were many black strips scattered on the white robe, and the black tomo was evenly arranged at the neckline. Yizan's shadow clone actually used the 6 paths mode at the same time. Bang bang bang. The terrifying fluctuations were accompanied by the continuous screams. The strong marines seemed to be dropped to the ground one by one like a dumpling by Yizan. Qingzi Kizaru and a group of lieutenant generals were better, but the weaker ones such as brigadier generals and colonels can't resist shadow clone's attack at all. Okay, the time is almost up. You can enjoy the big gift I gave you. Yizan laughed wickedly, and bent over to avoid Marshal Kong's slash. At the same time, he suddenly stepped out and kicked Garp's cheek accurately. The terrifying force almost knocked Garp's head off. He was like a cannonball. It seemed to fly upside down for thousands of meters, and with a boom, it blasted a huge hole in the ocean in the distance. The second meteorite failed to intercept, and there was less than 2,000 meters left from the ground. Yizan quickly withdrew from the battle circle and left the area with Robin in his arms using the technique of Hiraishin. Blue Pheasant. In desperation, Marshal Kong finally called out the last person he could think of to save everyone. At this moment, Qingzi finally lived up to the heavy trust, and used all his strength to freeze Yizan's shadow clone with ice cubes, and rushed to the fastest speed in his life. Under the meteorite. Ice Age. He has already disregarded his own safety, and instantly released all his physical strength. His palms began to freeze, and the freezing spread along the surface of the meteorite. When the meteorite was less than 500 meters away from the ground, the meteorite was frozen. Oh, when 1,000 troops are fired, not bad. Having left the naval headquarters, Yizan, who was floating on the sea, said casually, as if to praise, but for some reason, everyone's hearts were heavy, and they felt worse. Although 2 meteorites have been resolved, but no, there is only one left. What? At that moment, the sky turned black again, and everyone stared blankly at the last meteorite in the sky, slumped to the ground. No one could stop it. Kizaru had the heart to do it, but he was blocked by one of Yizan's shadow clones, and his shining fruit couldn't destroy the meteorite at all. The meteorite hits the ground. At this moment, the heaven and the earth seemed to be incomparably quiet. In the silence, the landing sound of this meteorite seemed even more terrifying and deterrent. The entire Navy headquarters, at the moment when this meteorite fell, destroyed. Boom. The live broadcast has been interrupted. When the meteorite hit the ground, all the cameras in the Navy headquarters were destroyed, and all the reporters who were not afraid of death also died in the meteorite fall. After a long time, the dust and smoke finally slowly dissipated, and the naval headquarters, which was destroyed by the meteorite, has become a ruin. Ruined ruins, with just one move, the entire High 667 Army headquarters was destroyed. After a while, in the ruins of the Navy headquarters, a small number of Navy masters emerged from the broken meteorites and ruins. Each of them was wounded, and most of the Navy had been completely sacrificed in this meteorite fall. It turned out that at the last moment, Akainu and Qingzi exploded their potential at the same time, and created a frozen rock layer with rock berry and frozen fruit, but the combination technique they created after exhausted their strength only slightly reduced the power of the meteorite fall, and finally survived. Yes, at least they are all above the Colonel, Grandmaster Iron Block Physical Master. The demolition is complete. Yizan jumped on the sea happily, and even kissed Robin on the cheek. His dazed appearance made the wounded Navy masters even more angry. Bastard! Marshal Sora clenched Kiba tightly. This meteorite destroyed most of the high-end combat power of the Navy headquarters. I don't know if it will take 10 or 20 years to cultivate it again. He was so angry that he completely lost his mind, and suddenly armament hockey broke out and rushed towards Yizan frantically. Idiot, do you still want to come? Tisk tisk tisk. Since you still want to play, then try this trick. Yizan smiled wickedly and quickly merged the water attribute chakra and the earth attribute chakra together. Mokuden, wood style, flower. World of Trees wall. Chapter 37 _ slap the Navy in the face. Mokuden, wood style, flower. World of Trees wall. Following Yizan's words, the huge and sturdy trees were like piranhas that devoured everything around them. At the same time that the trees were attacking the crowd at a rapid rate, Marshal Kong suddenly broke through the Mokuden, wood style, and he was madly rushing towards Yizan in a purple-black domineering. Boom! The fierce collision caused dozens of shock waves to oscillate in the air. Marshal Kong rushed over at an extremely fast speed, but flew back at double the speed. Don't worry, you're so angry that you hurt your body, take it slow. Yizan destroyed the entire Navy headquarters and slapped the entire Navy's face. Kong Yuan was handsome and eager to attack, but unfortunately he was not Yizan's opponent at all. The art of Horaitian. Ha! With a light sound, Yizan placed Robin at a height of 1,000 meters in an instant. Facing the angry Navy generals below, he smiled smugly, and once again hand-sealed with one hand. The flower world of trees wall continued to grow, and soon became a complete state. Then, in the giant forest occupying the entire island, 50 super piranhas cracked, emitting yellowish spores and pungent nostrils. Breath. Flower world of trees wall. The most powerful force is not the binding of the trees, but the breath released by the flowers after the entire operation is completed. This is a super terrifying demonic illusion that no one can stop. The spores and aura spread out, and soon, the colonel-level Navy fell to the ground, and after a few seconds, the brigadier generals were all hit. Well, not bad. Yizan nodded with satisfaction. At this moment, he has seen that the ghost spider, Huo Shaoshan and others with the strength of the lieutenant general have been confused and shaky. One by one, apart from Sora, Sengoku and Garp, including Akaiji Akainu and Kizaru, their eyes were also confused, and after a few seconds, Akainu and Aoji, who were exhausted from resisting the meteorite, fell on the ground. However, at this moment, something that shocked Yizan happened. Boom. Click _ A violent explosion followed by a strange sound. Yizan stared blankly at the entire battlefield. In the battlefield, countless explosions appeared. Yizan stood in the sky. He could see clearly, it was Akainu and Qingzi who made the explosion. At this moment, the red dog turned into magma and flowed everywhere, and the green pheasant quickly turned the surrounding into a field of ice. Not only the two of them, but those with the devil fruit ability of the animal system were uncontrolled and turned into ferocious animals. On the contrary, the Superman is still unconscious on the ground, looking very quiet. Newbie. In the demonic illusion of the flower world of Tree's Wall, this group of devil fruit powers actually released their power like a drunken madness. Looking at the uncontrollable scene around him, Yizan Thief glanced around. Well, to demolish so many houses, and make the Navy so miserable, leaving like this. A bit bad. Or, help them build it. Well, it's such a happy decision. I'm a good person. Yizan smirked, and sent himself a good person card. His smile became more and more thief, and his hands quickly knotted together. Mokuden, wood style, forge in Cherokee, column home art. Yizan snorted, and instantly, a large number of Mokuden, wood style, were tangled in growth, and with the support of Yizan's terrifying spiritual power, they soon assembled into a huge and brilliant wooden building covering an area of tens of thousands of square meters. The whole building looks more domineering and leaky than the previous base of the Navy headquarters, and it is more spacious and beautiful. I've helped you build a new base, which is worthy of you. But, what kind of brand should I hang? Yizan touched his chin, looked at the empty gate, and thought seriously. After a while, Yizan's eyes lit up. Yes. Yizan once again hand seal, Mokuden, wood style, emerged, forming a plaque with two very beautiful handwritings created by spiritual power control and sketched with dragon flying and phoenix dancing, showing a style of everyone. The beautiful calligraphy can be said to be the pinnacle. If you sell it for money, I believe many people will rush to it. The sudden situation stunned Sora, Sengoku, and Karp, who were still awake. They stared at the two words on the huge plaque, and their eyes widened in disbelief. Toilet. Yes, the plaque written by Yizan is, toilet. I demolished a naval headquarters and gave them the most luxurious toilet in the world. I have done my best. Kindness and righteousness do a hell of a job. This is the original naval headquarters. Now it's turned into a toilet. What does that mean? The slap in the face is still benevolent and righteous. This kind of benevolence and righteousness is needed. Hey, I'm really a kind person. Yizan nodded in self-affirmation, hugged Robin and turned to leave the Navy headquarters. Yizan came this time mainly to prove his deterrent power. So far, it seems to be very successful. And the skill books released by the lieutenant-level Navy after so many deaths also made Yi Xuanxiao earn a fortune. Yizan left just like that. He was flying in futon wind style mode, holding Robin in his arms and flying comfortably over the ocean. Robin leaned against Yizan's arms like a kitten, raised his head slightly, and looked towards Yizan's eyes were very strange. What? Are you amazed at how powerful I am? Yizan found Robin's gaze and shook his hair. Robin looked at Yizan strangely, and shook his head. I thought that Brother Zan had the strength like a god, and his personality would be as serious as a god, but... The toilet. Robin couldn't imagine how bad Yizan's character should be. Although Robin knew that Yizan was a lazy and funny person before, Robin never thought that Yizan's character was really so bad. Toilet. Really? Yizan raised his mouth and looked at Robin. Speaking of this, toilet, do you think anyone will go to that toilet? Should no one go? That may be. Don't forget, the big pirates are all lawless people. Yizan was too lazy to take care of the follow-up. He believed that from now on, the Navy would not have the courage to provoke him again. And after he left, the whole world was completely boiling. Chapter 38-Demon. Although Yizan destroyed the naval headquarters and the live camera, there were many big pirates watching the fun on the sea in the distance. Everything Yizan showed was clearly seen by all the big pirates watching the fun. However, these big pirates did not take advantage of the dangers of others and wanted to attack the Navy, mainly because Yizan's fighting moves were mysterious. Although they destroyed the Navy headquarters, it seems that Marshal Kong, Sengoku and other powerhouses did not suffer too much damage. The extent of the damage to the Navy is not known. Although they didn't dare to act rashly, they were all terrorists who were afraid that the world would not be in chaos. When such a big thing happened, the pirates spread the follow-up news to the whole world with great revelry. The Navy headquarters was forcibly destroyed, and a toilet was built on the ruins of the Navy headquarters. This kind of thing makes the whole world dumbfounded. Devil, Yi Zan. This incident completely ignored Yi Zan's name as a demon, and truly became famous all over the world. Trash. You are all trash. Wu Laoxing roared, and the leader blamed everything on Marshal Kong. Sora, from now on, I don't want to see you continue to be in charge of the Navy. 220. The 5 old stars ordered that no one could disobey, and he quickly resigned and gave up the position of Marshal to Sengoku. This is something that many pirates expected. The negative impact of this incident on the Navy is too great. Not only its reputation, but also a large number of captain-level masters who have died. The Navy suffered a major defeat. Someone had to take the blame for this matter, and Marshal Kong was naturally the best candidate to take the blame. Marshal Kong stepped down. Although Sengoku was known as a wise general and had a strong network in the Navy, Sengoku always took over the throne. He had to take control of the Navy slowly, and because of the death of a large number of colonel-level navies, the Navy's combat power was not as good as before. On the surface, the situation seems to be nothing, but secretly, it is turbulent. In this turbulent flow, 2 things happen at the same time. Fisher Tiger climbed to the world government headquarters Holy Land Mary Joa with his bare hands, and rescued the Murloc compatriots who were purchased as slaves by the Tianlong people from human traffickers. There was a scene, and thousands of prisoners were freed. Slaves of different races. The prestige of the Navy has plummeted, and the authority of the Draconians has been reduced to a low point. The angry Tianlong people had nowhere to vent their anger, and ordered Sengoku, who had just taken office, to use all his strength to capture Fisher Tiger, and at this time, another news finally made the chaos a little quieter. One Piece Roger turns himself in and is about to be executed in his hometown. Hearing this news, Yi Zan sighed softly, and Roger finally insisted on his own idea. Open black lens bracket want my treasure. If you want, I can give you all, go find it. I put all my treasures there. Close black lens bracket. This is Roger's last sentence before his execution, which makes people rush to the sea, the era of the great pirates, open. Compared with the activity of pirates, Yi Zan, who caused all this to happen, suddenly disappeared. And because of the increasingly chaotic world situation and the surrender of One Piece Roger, Yi Zan was forgotten by everyone for a while. East China Sea, Rogue Town. This is 2 weeks after the naval headquarters was destroyed, and the town of Rogue, which was not very good, was crowded with people. A large number of pirate ships unloaded their flags and docked at the port of Roger Town. The pirates disguised as civilians poured into the town, allowing the pirates to give up their identities and flags. Except for Roger, the Pirate King, there is no one. In order to renew the prestige that has dropped to freezing point, the world government and the Navy have decided at the same time, at 2 o'clock this afternoon, live broadcast to the world and execute One Piece Roger. Pirates disguised as civilians, the Navy, local civilians, and non-local civilians, countless people poured into Roger Town, and the taverns and restaurants were full of people. It is 10 o'clock in the morning, and there are still 4 hours before Roger's execution. Time. In fact, since the announcement of Roger's sentence and location, Roger Town has been crowded with people this week. Everyone is discussing Roger, discussing this One Piece. Seriously, Roger Town has indeed increased in a short period of time. Economic income. That's why I say, this is the most annoying place with a lot of people. The hotel is full, the bar is full, and I can't even find a place to eat lunch. Roger is such an idiot, I really want to beat him up. The street was crowded with people, and Yi Zan walked on the crowded street with Robin in his arms. Idiot, come here. Yi Zan squeezed away the crowd and walked back, and soon came to Alvia. He grabbed Alvia's hand, but was thrown away by Alvia. Bastard, don't do anything to me. Alvia was ashamed and angry. She glared at Yi Zan angrily, but Yizan pouted slightly and took Alvia's hand again. You. What am I? There are so many people here, what if you get scattered? Do you really think the people around you are civilians? I can tell you seriously, 70% of the civilians around us are now. They were all disguised by pirates. They just didn't want to conflict with the Navy, so they disguised as civilians to watch Roger's execution. Yizan reprimanded the surrounding pirates suddenly, some of whom were short-tempered and not weak in their own strength even wanted to attack Yizan, but when they saw Yizan's appearance, their faces changed greatly, and they all turned their heads. Disguised as a civilian and left quickly. Damn it, the demon Yizan actually came to Rog Town. The pirates were frightened and subconsciously wanted to leave Yizan, but the change just now did not escape Alvia's eyes. Although she was angry that Yizan held her hand, she still pursed her lips. Pirate, Yizan felt very safe beside him. Remember, in the future, in places with many people, you must hold me or hold me. You didn't see it, these pirates almost drooled when they looked at you. It's all because of your beauty. Yizan rambled on, dragged Olivia and walked forward, while Olivia lowered her head with Yuhi's face, and she kept thinking about what Yizan just said in her mind. So I'm pretty. Chapter 39-Roger executed. Yizan has come to Rog Town. The news quickly spread throughout the town. Of course, it was spread among various pirate groups. Although there were some pirates who wanted to disclose the news to the Navy, Yizan was stopped by the captain or other captains. The news was eventually suppressed. Just kidding, you disclose the news to the Navy. If the Navy and Yizan fight again, what will we do? A meteorite from someone else can destroy the entire rogue town. Protect the Navy because they were worried about being harmed by Chiu. Such absurd things have happened, and only Yizan has such a deterrent in the world. Yizan didn't care about the deterrence he brought. He didn't hide his face at all. He brought Robin and Alvia to a well-decorated restaurant. He casually glanced at the table by the window, the table of pirates. Dispersed instantly, gave up the position to Yizan. Boss, serve up all the best dishes in your restaurant. The best wines are also served up. Oh right, I don't seem to have any money. Yizan scratched the back of his head, and the next second, the adjacent table a ferocious man stood up. Boss, the consumption of this table is counted on me, he said boldly, causing Yizan to subconsciously turn his head to look over. Yizan, hello, I'm the head of the Blackfish Pirates. I sincerely admire your previous behavior. You can order this meal as you like, please. Tisk, a set that is close to. Yizan nodded casually. Although the other party was a small character, Yizan never refused to show his favor. Some people took the initiative to invite guests to dinner, wouldn't it be okay? Of course, Yizan never abides by the so-called cannibalism. If you like to treat guests, I won't help you. Cheeky. Alvia muttered in a low voice, but Yizan heard him. He glared at Alvia, and Alvia was not afraid. Fascinating charm. Alvia, you are so beautiful. Humph. Suddenly being praised by Yizan made Yuhi dizzy on Alvia's pretty face. She snorted lightly and turned her head away unnaturally. Her head was a little confused, and she was scared and shy about Yizan's continuous praise and wolf-like eyes. She thought wildly, but Yizan had already turned his eyes to Robin on the other side. Robin, come, kiss. Yizan smiled and put his face in front of Robin. Robin looked around, a little shy. Her face Yuhi hesitated for a while, and finally raised her neck, gentle in Yizan a kiss on the cheek. Well, my Robin is still good, cute and obedient, better than some people. Yizan glanced at Alvia deliberately, and his provocative tone instantly made Alvia angry. Hey, asshole, who are you talking about? Who knows? Anyway, it's someone. Yizan shook his head triumphantly, constantly provoking Alvia. Alvia snorted angrily, turned his head, and secretly decided that he would never do it today. Li Yizan. A lunch was spent in a good atmosphere. After lunch, I looked at the time and found that it was less than 2 hours before Roger's execution. Let's go to the execution ground. After Yizan finished speaking, he picked up little Robin with one hand and pulled Olvia with the other to leave the restaurant. As soon as he moved, the other pirates in the restaurant followed Yizan. In fact, they themselves didn't know why they followed Yizan. They just vaguely felt that such a super powerhouse came to Roggen. Maybe it has something to do with Roger. 1:50 p.m. when Roger was executed in the huge central square of Roger Town. A large number of Navy guards are on guard, and the powerhouses at the general level are gathered, and the strongest man in the Navy sitting in Rog Town is the Navy hero, Garp. When Roger, the Pirate King, dies, the pirates all over the world will suffer a serious mental blow. It's a pity. Looking at the crowded square, Garp sighed softly. He chased Roger for many years, and the two fought countless times. He relied on his strong personal strength and naval power to push Roger to a desperate situation many times. Unfortunately, every time both were escaped by Roger. It can be regarded as the sympathy between the strong. From a justice point of view, Garp really wanted to arrest Roger, but from his heart, he didn't like Roger being arrested. And this time, Roger unexpectedly turned himself in, which surprised Garp, but also a little regretful. Unfortunately, Garp shook his head regretfully, turned his head to look at the square, and found that the square was already crowded with people. Roughly estimated, there should be 100,000 people. It's almost time, let's execute it. After Garp finished speaking, a Navy soldier next to him immediately brought Roger up, and when Roger appeared, there was a lot of discussion in the square of 100,000 people. That's Roger. Looks so decadent. The limbs have been pierced with bones, so cruel. Nonsense, Roger is the Pirate King, he doesn't use any means. If he resists during the execution, the Navy will be ashamed. Hee, the Navy has already lost face once, that's still. The pirate said, turned his head to look at Yizan not far away, and finally closed his mouth in fear, for fear that his random discussion would lead to death. Time passed by minute, and it was less than 3 minutes before 2 p.m. 2 Navy soldiers held the long-handled knife used for execution around Roger's neck. They only waited for the superior's order before they executed the order. 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 30 seconds. When the clock on the wall had the last 30 seconds to go before 2 o'clock, a colonel-ranked executioner, as is customary, asked the last sentence. One Piece Roger, do you have any last words to say before the execution? The will passed down from generation to generation, the changes of the times, people's dreams, as long as people continue to pursue the answer to freedom, all this will not stop. Roger's words made everyone puzzled, but at this moment, a voice sounded throughout the square. Hey, One Piece. A man dressed as a pirate shouted, attracting everyone's attention. Where did you hide the treasure you found? You have found it, One Piece. Hearing this man's words, Roger let out a heroic laugh. Even though his body had been penetrated by the iron chain, he was still heroic and said words that shocked the whole world. Want my treasure? I can give it to you if you want. Go find it. I put all my treasure there. At the end of the Great Route. Bastard. Execution. Shoo. The knife light flashed, and a bloodthirsty light bloomed under the sun. At this moment, a wicked smile appeared at the corner of Yizan's mouth. He slowly raised his hands, and in a rare case, he performed a hand seal with both hands. Ultimate Demonic Illusion, Super. Hell Viewing Technique. Chapter 40_Save Roger. Hell Viewing Technique itself is just AC-level demonic illusion, and its function is to let the opponent see the horrible scene that they don't want to see in their hearts. But after Yizan's improvement and relying on his powerful strength to display the Hell Viewing Technique, it has become a super terrifying large-scale demonic illusion. When the knife that executed the Navy was about to cut Roger's neck, the terrifying demonic illusion instantly enveloped the entire Roger town. It was as if the whole town had fallen into a dream, and everyone was stunned in place. If you look closely, you can find that their eyes are dull, their pupils are dilated, and everyone's face is full of horror. Brother Zahn, what's wrong with them? Robin asked suspiciously. She found that the soldier who executed the execution stopped moving at the last moment, and two sharp long knives pressed against Roger's neck, but did not move forward. Hee, they all hit my demonic illusion. You don't understand, it probably means that they were all forced to dream by me. Yizan smiled and kissed Robin on the face. Olivia glanced angrily. Now Robin is getting more and more sticky to Yizan. So sticky, even her mother is not so sticky. Yo, are you jealous? Jealous ghost. Ha 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 ha, so you're really jealous. Robin, go to your mother's arms, she's jealous. Asshole. Mom, hug. Robin crawled into Olivia's arms and Olivia's face turned from cloudy to clear. She kissed Robin gently on the cheek, and decided to hug Robin today and never let go. Yizan's demonic illusion covered the entire town, except for a few strong people. Everyone was caught. Click. With a light sound in the dead silence, the photographer holding the camera fell to the ground because of demonic illusion's fear, and the people who were sitting in front of the TV watching the live broadcast unexpectedly discovered that the live broadcast was interrupted like this. Why did the live broadcast stop? I don't know, it must be a technical failure. There were no enemies on the TV just now. Hey, what are you doing? Go to sea. Go to the One Piece. The end of the Great Route. Here we come. There are many people who hold the same idea, not only pirates, but also many civilians have this idea. The treasure of One Piece. How attractive. As long as you find the treasure of One Piece, you will not have to worry in this life. Because all the videographers in Rogue Town were hit by demonic illusion, the camera was broken and the live broadcast was interrupted. In the entire Rogue Town, there are still only a few people who have been hit by demonic illusion. Robin and Olivia naturally won't be hit by demonic illusion, and they rely on their own strength to forcibly resist demonic illusion, as well as Roger, Hades, Rayleigh and Carp. Yizan, are you here to save the captain? Rayleigh rushed over from a distance. After demonic illusion was displayed, he found Yizan. He quickly came to Yizan's side, his eyes full of excitement. Hey, don't worry, I won't let Roger die. You know, I like to sabotage. Whatever he wants, I won't. I'm going to sabotage his plan. Yizan smirked and walked towards the execution place with Robin and Olivia. At this moment, Garp rushed to Roger's side. He looked at Yizan with a solemn face, and took the long knife of the soldier next to him. Put the knife on Roger's neck. Yizan. Yo, Carp Tilda. Yizan greeted Carp with a smile, looking very casual. Yizan, today is Roger's execution day. It has nothing to do with you. Why are you here to sabotage again? Because Roger and I are good friends. Yizan said, ignoring Garp's gaze, and walked slowly to Roger's side. Garp held the handle of the long knife tightly, and his hands trembled, but he still didn't cut it to Roger in the end. This is the first close encounter between Yizan and Garp in the true sense, and seriously, it is not the first time. After all, he had watched the One Piece anime and knew that Garp was a very nice person. He smiled and patted Garp on the shoulder. This shot was like the last straw that broke the camel's back. Garp sighed softly. He threw the long knife in his hand off the execution stand. I know you won't do it. Why? Because you and Roger are friends too. Yizan said with a smile, lowered his body and grabbed the iron chains on Roger's shoulders. These iron chains had penetrated Roger's pippa bones. Yizan was about to crush the iron chains and seemed to think of something interesting. Nasty. Roger. Huh. Roger looked up at Yizan, and for some reason, a bad feeling emerged in his heart. Endure the pain, I'll help you pull the chain out. Quote ? Roger's eyes widened in disbelief. What did he hear? Pull the chain out. Hey, are you trying to kill me, you bastard? Roger really wanted to spit on Yizan's face, but at this time, he didn't even have time to spit. Stab it. I have suffered knee. Yizan, I hate you. Roger fell to the ground weakly, his face pale, although his body was repaired by the ability of the face fruit, but his spirit was about to collapse. He stared at Yizan angrily, his eyes full of resentment. Yo, you still have the strength to stare at me, it doesn't seem to hurt enough. Don't. Brother, I was wrong. Please don't bully me, woo-woo. The famous One Piece Roger is crying like a wrong child at the moment, so I don't blame him. After all, he met Yizan. Yizan wants to play a prank 2.1, anyone wants to cry tilde. But then again, boy, I chose to surrender in order to start a new era, but now you have saved me, you have ruined my plan. Roger's eyes became resentful again while crying. Yizan gently picking up his fingers, he pointed to the distance. Did you see, the live cameras were all broken by the cameraman himself. Did you see, the entire rogue town was caught in my demonic illusion. As long as you don't tell me, Carp doesn't tell me, who knows you're still alive. Yizan's words made Roger's eyes brighten, but Carp's face changed greatly. He was about to refute, but Yizan glared at him and disappeared in an instant. Carp, don't be impatient, the world government will eventually be overthrown. Maybe your son and grandson are the backbone of the overthrow of the world government.